Hey internets, good evening. Welcome to a brand new game here on the Wily Hobbit Twitch channel. I'm Scott, also known as Wily Hobbit. I'll be your host and dungeon master tonight. And man, are we excited. We've got 6 faces who've never been seen before tonight on this here channel. So we are stoked. So let me get through some housekeeping here. You're about to watch some Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition set in Faerun, Forgotten Realms, in the Dalelands, as the show name might suggest. So, here's what you want to know about the Wily Hobbit Twitch channel before we get into game-related stuff. Wednesdays we run a show, a game of 5e D&D set in Forgotten Realms called, what is that called? Man, I just had a blank. Anyway, we run that at 7 o'clock on Wednesday, and it's really good and fun. And it's Dragon of Ice Spire Peak. It took me a second there. So it's the adventure that comes in the D&D Essentials kit, and that's another long-term campaign. So come check that out. And then on Sundays, we just started a game. In fact, we've only had one session. Merfeather, thank you for that follow. That is awesome. I'll tell you what that means in just a couple minutes. We started the Greyhawk Campaign. It's a Pathfinder First Edition, Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern. We should be rolling again this Sunday, so super excited about that. So this is the second new show in a month on the channel, so super stoked about that. So, speaking of recent followers, let's just dive into that. We have a little program for donating. Let's see. The way we work this is you can donate 2 different denominations. You could donate $5 or 500 bits, and that would gain the party a little boon. And in fact, you could give that boon to the DM. The party or the DM can receive a +2 to any 20-sided die roll, and you decide when you donate those 500 bits or $5 who gets that benefit. And the party goes into a pool, so the party can accumulate as many of those as you care to donate. Followers also contribute to that. So the party has their first +2 accumulated. Now the cool thing about that is that you use that after you've rolled your d20 and you've determined or found out what the outcome is. And if you're just this close to making something happen, you can burn a +2 to create a success. So it's not like you would, have to say before you roll that you're going to use a +2 and then you roll a 3 on the die and you're way off. So you get to roll the die, find out the outcome, and then use the +2 to your benefit. Same goes on the DM side. So if you donate 500 bits or $5, you can award a +2 to the DM or the players. If you donate 1,000 bits or $10, you can donate a D20 reroll for any D20 roll. Again, you use it after you see what you've gotten, and that works for anything other than a death save. And you can award that to the DM or the players, and they can accumulate that as a pool. So, and I've got little messages that'll show up in chat to remind you of how you can donate. So any support you want to give, that would be great. And again, followers also go toward that, and they'll automatically default to the party. As far as other house rules, if you roll a crit, a nat 20 on an attack roll, you get maximum damage plus your modifier, then you get to roll your damage die again. And if you happen to be of the rogue persuasion or a paladin, anything that uses additional damage die like smite dice, sneak attack dice, you get to double the number of those that you roll. So we like our criticals to be actually critical. So that's how we do that. You can drink a potion as a bonus action in this game, so that's kind of cool. And then we encourage the use of actual dice and theater of the mind. We want to make this as close to tabletop gaming as possible, so you won't see a roll 20 dice or die result or anything in any of the panels. So we're going to go with that. And so those are the house rules. And now what I want to do is jump around. It's enough out of this guy. I want to jump around and meet our players, and we'll just kind of go around the box. We'll start with Calavera. Just tell us a little bit about who you are and what your character is all about.
Oh, okay, I'll start. Cool. Hi, I'm Paige. I've been playing D&D for 3 or 4 years now, and I'm going to be playing Calavera, who is a Fire Genasi Grave Cleric.
All right, awesome. Let's just go right down the the right side here, and we'll go to Rue.
That's me. Hi, everyone. I'm Andrew, aka Fellowship of the Tables, and tonight I'm playing Rue Shahar, who is just a normal human merchant type. Nothing to see here.
Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing interesting
Yeah.
so far. Really dull characters,
Just a
very
real nice
boring.
guy.
Yeah, just totally lame and uninteresting. Very nice. Okay, let's go down to the bottom corner here, and let's meet Mike playing Fragile.
Oh yeah, Fragile is a fallen Aasimar, and she is her patron is the Raven Queen. Um, so she was actually born in Shade Enclave, and now she's kind of trying to make her way in Farron Toril, and she is looking for mementos, or trinkets of high emotional events to dedicate to the Raven Queen.
Nice. Excellent. Very good. Let's just go right across the bottom here to Algernon. Tell us a little bit about your character, Manny.
Hi, I'm Manny. I'm playing Algernon Altano, a Chilton Wizard's apprentice going through the ups and downs of college, who is currently on a informal study abroad program.
Informal study abroad. Okay, well, let's see how that turns out, right? Sure, that can only end well. All right, and then right above you, Ronvin. Hope I said that correctly.
Well, this is Ronvin, and I'm Vivacia, or Vivi. Vivi is easier, typing Vivacia is kind of hard. Ronvin is a baby artificer. She is a protector, Azamar, and this is like her first, where Serafina, her little angel guide, calls her to do something that's not like rescuing cats or dogs. So that's going to be interesting to see how she interacts with a fallen Azamar, but she doesn't really know nothing. She's kind of innocent. She's a local girl. She's from Mistvale. So she thinks she traveled far, but she really didn't. So yeah, this is going to be the baby of the party because she is completely sheltered.
Nice. Very good. And last but certainly not least, Gears.
Good day. My name's Dave. I play Gears. They are a fighter, and some other aspects will come up probably early on in this session, but leave that a little bit of a surprise if people haven't already guessed. And I am Hey Wilson on most of the social medias. So Wilson, by the way, has two L's. Not to get too specific. And we'll learn more about Gears as we go along.
All right. Excellent. Well, I think we should probably have some Dungeons and Dragons, don't you? I do have one more question for the party. Would you kind of wave at the camera if this is the first time you're playing on stream? How many new streamers do we have? So 4 out of 6. Yeah, and one of the absolute loves of mine when it comes to gaming is getting either new people involved, which you are all seasoned gamers, this just is your first time on stream, or new people streaming, or new people together. And that's one of the really important things about our community, the Wily Hobbit community, that I really, really love is we're super diverse, scattered across the universe. And so we've got 6 people who've never gamed together before. Although Mike and I, Fragile and I, play in a offline, real face-to-face game, although that's gone virtual for the time being. So I really love that about this group, that everybody is playing in a game with everyone else for the first time. So that really excites me, and I'm super stoked to get underway. So shall we have some D&D? What do y'all think?
Let's do it.
All right, very good. I'm going to start off with a little, background. I hate to use the word monologue because then everybody in the audience kind of groans like, oh man, really? But I'm going to hit you with just a little background. Daggerdale, originally named Marydale, is a remote region of the Dalelands, located between the Desert's Mouth Mountains and the Dagger Hills. It's a region of dark forests and rocky hills with a single large settlement, the capital, named Daggerfalls. Most folks in Daggerdale are hunters and farmers, living in small villages and isolated homesteads. Away from Daggerfalls, they're generally a bit xenophobic and suspicious, fearful of outsiders, due in large part to the bandit and monster attacks that regularly plague the countryside. The long history of wizards, clerics, and factions such as the Zhentarim trying to rule the Dales have also hardened these folks towards strangers. The year is 1492. Daggerdale has been at relative peace since Randall Morn reclaimed the region from the Zents in 1369 Dale Reckoning. Following Morn's passing in 1391, the Cormeril family had been lords of Daggerdale. Morn's sister, Silver Cormail, had married into the Cormeril family of Cormyr. Since Morn had no heir, control of Daggerdale passed to Silver's son, Sathrin Cormeril. Sathrin's grandson, Barathal, is the current lord of Daggerdale. The lord's retinue, a fighting force of 150 mounted warriors, patrolled Daggerdale and its roads, helping to keep the scattered farmlands safe. Some villages do have small militia groups willing to form and fight should the need arise. The last real threat to Daggerdale was in 1480 Dale Reckoning, when a Zhentarim cleric named Reesless attempted to seize control of Daggerdale through the Tower of Void, where 4 heroes of the Dalelands stood and opposed him. The dragon Incendius assailed Daggerdale, but was slain by the fighter of the 4 heroes. The Zents lost their taste for conquest of Daggerdale and have since turned their attention to the Tethyamar, at least for now. Daggerdale is known mostly for farm crops, furs, livestock, especially sheep. Emeralds have been mined in the Dagger Hills, but the threat of lycanthrope attacks in the area make mining excursions fairly dangerous, few and far between. Dagger Falls is home to a handful of retired heroes, adventurers, and of course, it's the seat of government for Daggerdale. There are a few taverns, shops, the constabulary barracks, a market square, a temple to Lathander, the Morning Lord, in this little community of some 2,000 or so souls. There's also the Lord's Keep. Barathal Cormeril resides there when he's in Daggerdale. Adventurers aren't uncommon in Dagger Falls, and for the most part are welcome, until they prove to be a problem. Then they are dealt with swiftly, firmly, but justly if needed. And so that sets our setting and our location, our time, and a bit of history. The date is 18 Flame Rule. That is the Harpter calendar month that would correspond with our month of July, so we're only a couple of weeks from midsummer. A few of our characters have been in town for anywhere from a day to a week, and a few of our characters are just arriving today. It's late morning, say 10 a.m., beautiful, dry, clear summer day. We're between 2 mountain ranges, I believe it's the Dragon Sword Mountains to the east and the mountains I mentioned to the west. So we're in a bit of an elevation, and it's cool and crisp on this beautiful summer morning. So what we're going to do now is we're going to begin where the party kind of arrives in Dagger Falls, at least those of them who are arriving today. And so I think what we'll do, we'll go ladies first, and we'll start with Ronvin. And I'd just like you to maybe describe for me what it is you're doing as you come to Dagger Falls. I presume you're coming up from the
Ronvin is
Go ahead.
from Miss Dahlia from Shavenford, and feeling like we're she's like an adult right now, right? She traveled all by herself to a different Dale, a different town. It's the first time she ever been outside of Mistdale. She's probably looking around and just kind of gloating in a little bit of a touristy way. And sometimes you will hear her just talking to a little tiny bird on her shoulder, but that bird is not real. That bird is just like something that she tinkered. It's out of metal. You can see all the gears and everything, and it moves a little bit, but it really doesn't answer her. And you can just say, hey, look at that tree. Do we have trees that big? Oh, you think so? I don't know. It's really green over here. I'm not sure. But it's pretty, isn't it? It's pretty, totally pretty. And she's kind of like half skipping. There's the chunky little Azamar, happy skipping down the road, talking to a fake bird. That's who she is.
Awesome. So you're on foot, and I presume you're going to come up the Tethyamar Trail from the south, because Mistledale is southeast of Shadowdale, which is southeast of Daggerdale. And so as you come up the trail, it's a typical smaller trade route. Certainly not. Daggerdale is not on any major trade route. There are a couple of trails, crushed or ground stone and dirt, mud in the rain, type roads that connect Daggerdale with the larger trade routes. And so as you come up from the south and you approach the River Tesh, which runs just to the south of the settlement, you'll see a very nicely appointed, kind of sprawling, looks to be an inn, maybe inn and tavern. There's a couple stables behind it, and it's on the west side of the road, on the left side. And as the breeze blows down out of the northwest, you notice an interesting smell, which just kind of hits you as you break the tree line that is south of the inn. And this is a 3-story timber frame. There's some stone facing around the ground level. There's a big wraparound porch. But this scent, it's like you've just walked into a cup of mint tea. It's very, very minty and fresh, and it's a dry, crisp day, and it almost feels damp and refreshing on your nose as you look about this new area you've never visited. And just beyond the inn, maybe 40, 50 yards, the trail widens out, and there's a stone bridge that crosses the River Tesh. And beyond that, you see an intersection where a couple of these trails come together, and you see a walled town, about a 10-foot tall stacked stone and wooden wall with a gate on the east side. And that's what you see as you approach.
So Runrin is probably still kind of skipping along. That's like, it smells good. You think they brushed the trees like we brush teeth? It kind of smells like somebody brushed them off. And she kind of looks at that building, and is that building something that looks like it's an inn, or is it just a big building?
Sure. So
Can you tell what it is?
Yeah, as you walk along, there's actually a sign. There's a lane that comes off the trail, and it says the Teshford Arms. So you would presume, there's an inn or two in Mistledale. You would presume that this is probably an inn.
So I'm guessing that Runrin's been walking for a while, and it is morning.
Mm-hmm.
But she's probably already been up for a couple hours, and she's probably tired of travel rations. So she'll probably skip right on over and say, well, maybe they got some oatmeal for breakfast. What if they have got raisins? That would be so cool. And she'll approach it and see if she can get some breakfast.
Okay, so you can easily just trot on down the lane and approach. And again, there's a big porch on the front of the inn is actually facing north. And why don't you roll me a nature roll? First roll of the campaign. Here we go. Why don't you make a nature roll for me, Ronvan?
All right, that's an 11.
Okay. You see sprawling, spreading out all the way from the inn down to the river. You see a field of beautiful, dark, it's even darker than emerald green, just the breeze kind of blowing across it. And your sense is that's probably the source of the minty, fresh smell, but you're not really sure what that is growing down there. But that's probably where it's coming from. The inn sits up on a little bit of a hill, and it's a kind of a gentle slope down to the river, and it's probably 50 yards from the front porch down to the River Tesh. And so you climb up on the front porch. There are several chairs, kind of two to a small cafe table arranged on the front porch. The door of the inn is actually hanging open. And you're more than welcome to enter.
Hanging open, just like open, or you mean hanging
propped
broken?
open? No, like propped open. Probably taking advantage of the lovely breeze.
It's like don't do that to me that early. Yeah, she will walk straight in and look for somebody she can talk to about breakfast. She's very
Okay.
food motivated.
Yeah. So you wander into the inn, um, and you see behind the bar. There's kind of straight ahead is a bar. Around to the left, the tap room kind of extends. There's a hearth back there, but as you walk in, there's the bar right there, and there is a gentleman, middle-aged human male, and he is at the bar tending to a few people. There's a few servers bustling about as you enter.
So we'll just like skip right over to the bar and say, "Good morning. Hello, I'm looking for some breakfast. What are you offering this fine morning?"
Ah, yes. Well, you've come to the right place. Yes, Oliver Sardin is my name, and welcome to the Teshford Arms. Where do you come from, young lady?
Oh, I'm up from Schabenford.
Ah, very nice, very nice. Haven't been down there in some time, but beautiful, beautiful part of the Dalelands. Lovely. Well, have a seat, or would you prefer to have a table?
If I could sit outside, I love how fresh it smells here.
Ah, the mint field. Yes, that's kind of a specialty of ours. We grow that mint ourselves. It's a special plant, and we make a lovely mint wine. Probably a little early in the day for a glass of mint wine, but if you'd like a mint tea with your breakfast, we could also get you some
That would be
some
delicious.
some seed cakes infused with mint, or if you'd prefer something a little less minty, perhaps a small rasher of bacon and some eggs. What would be your pleasure?
I think bacon and eggs sounds really good, and I'll take some of that minty and sweet too, please.
Ah, very well. Let me get your tea, and then you can pick a spot outside, and we'll send your breakfast out. Your total charge for all of that would be just one silver piece. So you can pay now, you can pay when you're done. Makes me no difference. But welcome to the Teshford Arms. This dude is abundantly friendly. He gives you a good looking over, especially when he sees the bird, we'll say, on your shoulder. Kind of tilts his head a little bit, and then he just turns tail and heads to the bar back, and you see him pour some very very hot water into a cup, drop a little ball, like a little wooden mesh sort of little contraption that you presume contains some fresh tea leaves or fresh crushed mint, and he swings back around and hands you your tea on a saucer with a spoon. Here you are. Now go ahead and surely take a seat. I think the porch is empty, so you have your choice of all the prime real estate out there. And what was your name, by the way?
Oh, my name is Ronvin.
Very well. Pleased to meet you again.
Very nice to meet you.
Ella will be out in a few moments with your breakfast.
Thank you. And she wanders off, with her little birdie
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
her drink. And she finds a seat outside where she can just watch the river and take super deep breaths and just relax for a little bit.
Excellent. Now I'm gonna kind of cut another character into this conversation. I think I'm gonna cut Calavera in because my guess is that Calavera is presently where she's residing, which would be the Teshford Arms. Would that be a fair assessment, Calavera?
It would, yeah. It's early enough in the morning.
Yeah.
She's just woken up. She's gotten used to the idea of sleeping in a little bit, which is nice.
Yeah, excellent. So, would there be any chance that you would happen to be maybe downstairs when Ronvin arrives? Could I talk you into that a little bit? A little railroading from the DM, perhaps?
Oh, absolutely, it makes sense. She'd probably be coming down to ask Oliver if he has any work that she could do to help out.
Excellent.
Just kind of been, the
Yeah.
usual she's been doing around here.
Yep. So, Ronvin, if you would please give a nice description of your character and what Calavera might see as you finish your conversation with Oliver, and then I'll have Calavera describe what you see as she kind of walks up to see Oliver.
Yeah. She'll see a red-haired, human-looking woman. It's about a little under 6 feet. She's pretty stout and chunky. Like she knows how to work. Like she got some muscle, but she also got some fat on top of it. Like she loves to eat, and she has amber eyes. She has some very old tattoos of closed eyes on her cheekbones. She's carrying a quarterstaff. She got a little gear um, made birdie, like a little songbird, sitting on her shoulder. She's mostly dressed in leathers. There's all kinds of pockets with all kinds of little gears and trinkets and stuff everywhere. And she's wearing a glove that kind of almost looks like a gauntlet that you won't really kind of understand what she does with it, because I don't think she understands yet what she's doing with it. But it kind of looks like she tinkered with it a lot. She got a pretty strong nose, and she just looks around like a little touristy, and like she never really seen this place before, or smelt this place before.
Hey. So then Calavera makes her way down the stairs, and she's also very humanoid looking, but look here, there's kind of this quick second where you're like, maybe she's some kind of drow of some sort, because she has grayish skin that's that has some sort of like warmer undertone to her, and she has very long black hair that's like coming down close to her waist that she currently has pulled back into a very thick braid. Her outfit's pretty simple. She's wearing a white blouse that has some sort of really nice, like, still very like simple, nothing super intricate on her outfit, like some embroidery that's coming up along the neckline. The rest of it is just a white blouse that is tucked into a high-waisted skirt that falls down to her ankles. And then she turns as she's walking, and even though her hair is falling so that it's covering like the one side of her face and you can't see like her right eye, the other one is almost burning this bright orange glow. It's like, oh, that's a fire ganassi, of course. She's more of a average height, around like 5'6" or 5'6" or so. A very round, soft sort of face, a soft body. She doesn't look like she does a lot of physical work. Very soft, more on the chubby side than not. And she's got this ever-present smile on her face that's almost kind of vacant. Like, she's kind of walking in, she's taking in what's around her, but she's not entirely taking in what's around her. But she's walking around this place that you can tell she's been here for some amount of time. She kind of knows, where she is. And what else does she have? She also has a sash on her waistline where the skirt meets her top, a red sash, and on that there is a medallion that's maybe this large or so that looks like it is some sort of carved flower that has a lot of petals on it. And as she makes her way down, she glances around, spots Oliver pretty quickly, makes her way over, and she goes, hello, good morning, Oliver. Good morning.
Good to see you, Calavera. And again, you can hear Oliver Ronvin on the porch. This guy speaks. He's just bigger than his space. Calavera, what can I do for you, young lady? You look lovely again today, as always. It's good to see you.
Well, thank you very much. You look very good as well. You look healthy and strong.
Well, I don't miss too many meals. And he kind of pats his nicely proportioned midsection.
I was wondering if there was any sort of work that you had that I could help out with today before I start making the rounds around the place.
Oh, yes. Actually, I think I'm okay. for now. But I appreciate you asking. You're always so helpful with errands and helping people. The other day when you helped that young fellow who took ill, that's nice to have you around for that. That's a nice thing that we can offer our guests. Your healing medicinal help is lovely. But I do have this, and he slides looks like kind of a handbill to you. And it's some kind of an announcement, and it's laying on the bar. And it says, bold black print, it reads, "Wanted for thievery most cunning," in this big bold script. And it describes the crimes and misdeeds of a man named Spurnick. The sign also bears a caricature of a young male human. He appears to have protruding rat-like ears and beady eyes. Hard to tell if this is an accurate depiction or perhaps a little liberty that was taken by the artist. The sign displays a list of charges: theft, breaching the peace, rendering aid and abatement to the enemies of Daggerfalls, and several other lesser offenses. The sign also reads, "Reward promised by the Lord Cormeril. 6 p.m. interested parties meet at the Lord's Keep, 18 Flame Rule." Perhaps this might be of interest. He just kind of lets you see it there. Sounds like it's connected.
Takes a moment to read through.
Sounds like it's connected with that hanging we had yesterday and all of that.
Yeah, from what I heard, probably, because didn't they say there was someone else?
From what I've heard, there was more than one, but only one was caught and dealt with by Daggerfall's law. Kill a guard, hang from the gallows. Kind of pounds the bar. Takes a swig of his French vanilla cappuccino. Whoops. So yes, if you're interested, there might be something in it for you.
Well, perhaps. I'm not quite sure. I'm not really a person for, Although I suppose, if this Spurnick?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it says on there? Spurnick?
Yes, Spurnick. Spernik.
If they're dangerous, maybe I'll look into it. At the very least, I can tell other people.
Yes, you know what? We just had a new person wander in. In fact, Ella, where's breakfast for the porch? And he kind of yells over his shoulder, way louder than half the tap room. There's a few tables of people. They all kind of look and shake their heads and go back to what they're doing. And out comes his sister, you've met a few times, bustling. She's got a plate full of eggs and bacon, and she just looks over at him with the kind of the look of death, and doesn't even respond, and jets out to the porch. You might follow her out there. We've got a new visitor, someone I've not seen around here. It seemed pretty interesting. Maybe she'd be interested. I'm sure there will be a number of people that show up tonight at 6 p.m. to inquire about the situation.
Well, maybe, yes. Ella, do you need help carrying anything?
I don't think so, but I may get an order to be taken into the constabulary barracks for lunch, and I'll let you know. Maybe you could deliver that.
Okay, thank you very much. I will be around.
Awesome.
Yeah, she'll go wander outside, see who's out and about.
Yeah. So, Ronvin, you're sitting there enjoying your mint tea, and it is good. You feel, as you sip on this tea, you feel like invigorated, almost tingly out to your fingertips and toes. And as you sit there enjoying your tea, a youngish female, probably late 20s, early 30s, comes out, apron, skirts bustling, kind of hair blonde pulled back down her back, and she, "Oh, here you are. Sorry that took so long. We hadn't pre-cooked any. We didn't have any pre-cooked
looks
bacon left.
delicious.
So yes. Anyway, so yes, here you are. And I hope you enjoy. Is there anything else I can get you?
Oh no, but compliments. This tea is delicious.
Isn't it the best?
It
Came
makes me tingly.
right out of that field. Yes, it is tingly. Yes, you should come back later when it's more time for wine. If you think the tea is wonderful, and she kind of smiles and winks at you. So thank you. And if you need anything, just stick your head in the door or give us a holler. We'll get you taken care of. And as
You will. I don't think I can be as loud as he is, but I'll try.
she rolls her, my brother. I know he has one volume and it's screaming. We tell him, but yeah. And then she's gone, just like almost in the middle of her last sentence. She floofs away and back in the door. And Calavera, as you're headed out, Ella almost runs into you. Oh, sorry, Cala. She's kind of taken to calling you a little
it's
nickname.
okay. It's okay.
Yep. Here you go. Maybe a new.
Kind of do that.
Yeah, they kind of woo, through the door.
Kind of do that like little shuffle.
Yeah. You might find a new friend out on the porch there. I didn't get her name, but she's got some fresh bacon. So, yep, see ya. And she scurries back behind the bar. And we're going to cut to Rue. Rue, you're also entering Dagger Falls. Am I correct? So let's work your entrance into this mix. What are you doing, bud?
Yeah, so I would be probably coming in through like the west end of town.
Okay.
Probably also on foot.
Very well.
Shall I give a description now?
Yeah, hit us with your description. And in fact, there is a trail that follows the River Tesh. The river runs... thanks for the host, Mara. Thanks very much for that. I just noticed you did that. And Lord Gazumba, thanks for the host, sir. Good to see you. But there is a trail that follows the river. The river goes kind of east to west, and the trail follows that way. Although there's no entrance into the town, you'd have to come all the way around and enter in the east gate. But yeah, go ahead and give us a little description as you're coming up that trail along the river.
Okay. So yeah, what you would see is a medium height human man. He is wearing pretty fine looking clothes. He's got a nice white dress shirt with like a brown vest over it, and he's got a fine looking purplish cape that goes down over his back, and it is fastened to the vest in the front with these two like $50 sized sort of brass looking ornamental pieces. And then he's got black hair with streaks of gray in it, tied in a ponytail down to about his shoulder blade length, and a little bit of a salt and pepper goatee.
Very well.
And as he's coming into town, he's definitely, he's got his eyes peeled open. He is looking everywhere, in particular for any thieves' cant that he might notice.
Okay.
But at the same time, he's being very friendly, waving to people who are walking by. Hey, hi, howdy, how you doing?
Sure. Yeah, so as you come up the road from the west, I'm going to also ask Algernon to describe himself, because I'm presuming, Algernon, that you're probably coming into the region from the west as well. And so for just the sake of ease and getting this thing, kind of mushed together, I'm going to have you and Rue kind of arriving simultaneously-ish. Maybe you're ahead of Rue on the road a little bit. So, Algernon, why don't you give us a little description of yourself coming up the road from the west. The river is on your right to the south, and just tell us what Rue might see walking ahead of him, maybe a few, 10 yards, 15 yards up.
So Algernon is going to be dressed in typical kind of wizard's vestments, likes flowing robes, not too ornate. He's kind of a beginning apprentice. They get more elaborate as you achieve higher ranks. Very brightly colored, hood up. The color scheme probably isn't very like familiar to this part of Faerun, so even probably from a distance, not only does he stick out like a sore thumb, but you can probably tell he's not like kind of native to the area. 6 feet tall, kind of skinny. Definitely spent more time in a library than playing outside most of his life.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Rue, you see that
Really?
trudging up the road in front of you, and the road bears to the left. And as it does, if you look across the river, you see this beautiful lush green field up a hill, and you see the front of a nice-looking 3-story structure. It's got a big sweeping porch across the front. There's a couple of folks. One is standing, one is seated on the porch, is pretty much what you can make out. As you turn left and head kind of due north to an intersection, and then if you turn left again, that is the east gate, which is nothing more than an opening in the stacked stone and wood timber wall. The wall's about 12 feet high or so, and the gates themselves are just wooden doors that are swung inward. On either side of the opening, you see two what you would assume to be local militia / law enforcement types. They're in chain shirts with a tabard over the top, each bearing a long sword, each leaning on a spear. And they're on either side kind of talking and between themselves as people pass through. And you'll see any manner of, you could see a family come through. You might see a merchant or two, maybe a mule with a cart. That sort of, it's like the morning sort of crowd is bustling, and bustling for Daggerfalls. And so that's what you see as you round the bend and approach the east gate. And in fact, I'm gonna show you a little bit of heraldry, what the Daggerfalls heraldry looks like. So there's a little bit of information there about Daggerdale, but that dagger and ring is what you would see on their tabard. That's the heraldry of Daggerfalls. So are you going to enter the town?
Yeah, so as I'm coming in, I see the gentleman who's also entering the city and just kind of waving. How you doing? Beautiful day, isn't it?
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Doing well, doing well.
Tis a lovely day for the city. I am new to the area.
Are you? Whereabouts you from?
I am a wizarding apprentice from Chult. Do you know Chult?
Do you want me to Chult?
Oh, you may have heard of it. Land far away to the south.
Nope.
Yeah, so no.
It is a lovely place. You should go visit the dinosaurs, tropics, beaches. It is very lovely all times of the year.
That sounds wonderful, perhaps except for the dinosaurs. I'm sure it's quite lovely. What brings you here to Daggerfall?
I am currently, studying abroad. I would like to learn from people outside of my country and see a bit of the world for the first time.
Wonderful, wonderful. I can tell you the world's just a lovely place. I've been bopping around to different places my whole life, and it's a wonderful place to see. There's so many different places and people. It's quite lovely.
It is a life I hope to have. This is the first time I've ever left my home. I want to see and learn as much as possible.
There's nothing quite like life on the road.
Yes and no. I miss the comforts of home. I'm somewhat alone out here. And I've had some entanglements with the locals, but nothing too bad.
Fair enough. What's your plan? I heard this town has a lovely little bakery with the finest sweets you've ever heard of.
Yes, very good. New foods. I've been walking all night. I would love to get breakfast. In fact, you've been so nice. Allow me to pay.
Well, I would be honored, sir. You are much too kind. It's just always nice to see a friendly face on the road.
Very good. Then we are now friends. Algernon Otano, wizarding extraordinaire, at your service.
Rue Shahar, you will give a sort of a formal bow.
It is a pleasure. Great morning.
Sir.
Great friends. Let us eat.
So the two of you find yourselves in an intersection. There's a trail, a road that goes south over a stone bridge. The trail you're on, the road you're on, continues east. And it also turns sharp left and goes through the gate. And so as you walk, I'm assuming you're going to go into the town?
Sure.
Yeah. So
It's breakfast time.
as you approach, two guards wearing that livery or that heraldry nod and smile. Welcome to Dagger Falls if you're new here. And they go back
Good morning.
Go back to chatting.
Howdy.
They give you the cursory look. They clearly have never seen either of you, but they don't give you a hard time by any stretch. So you're able to come through the gate, and again, it's a walled town, and immediately on either side of the kind of the main thoroughfare there are residences, stone, maybe some with thatched roofs, maybe some with wood shakes, mostly one story. There's a sign on the side of the road, kind of a signpost that points to the north. It points toward the Temple of the Thunder, and also the Dagger Reforged. And to the south, it points toward the Dagger Falls warehouses. And then it also indicates straight ahead is the Market Square, the Constabulary, and you can see in the kind of the northwest part of the town, the elevation goes up, and you can see a nice looking
I mean, I'm gonna follow Rue. He promised some breakfast, so I'm gonna let him lead the way for this breakfast payoff.
Yeah, I mean, I would be looking for somewhere to eat. Is that would I know? Is that like a blacksmith, or would I not know? Okay. Well, I suppose the marketplace seems like as good a place as any to start out. See if we can't find some good food.
Okay.
Yes, I am very hungry. Let us go.
So you can proceed straight ahead then, and you just come through. You can see kind of the warehouses to the left, to the south. You can
well,
yes.
They're saying they can't hear you.
Yeah, I already got it.
They're saying they can't hear you.
I unmuted.
Okay.
I should be good now. My wife had come in and I muted. I didn't mute her. I muted so you couldn't hear her talking to me. Any rate, So yeah, you
Clearly
can.
You're still alive.
Yes, I'm clearly still
And
alive.
that's the last we ever heard
Yeah,
of
I
him.
will be sleeping in the garage, but I am still alive. Yeah. So you can see kind of the stone structures of the warehouse through some of the residences. And you make your way a couple hundred yards, and it opens into kind of what you would expect, an open air area. Just north of it, you can see the walled area where the constable barracks are, and then as the elevation goes up, you can see that keep a little more closely. But there are various tents and stalls here and there, merchants selling their wares. As you stroll through there, you can smell some meats cooking, various maybe vegetables, produce on stands, some, there's a couple weapons folk. There are a number, you do notice there are a number of guards or folks dressed similarly to the pair at the initial opening, with that heraldry of Daggerfalls on their tabard, walking around mostly in pairs. It doesn't feel like a police state or a military installation, but for a town of this size, it looks to be very well patrolled. Like they take their safety and peace kind of seriously here, and their law and order. So yeah, you can mill about in the market area if you'd like.
Is there anybody around who looks particularly sketchy looking?
Make me perception, pretty please.
That is a 23.
Yeah. So there's definitely, as you get further into the market square, maybe the less savory, there's a couple of, humans looking a little rough, a little threadbare, a little road worn, and they're hawking various cures and poultices and oils and herbs and things designed to, anything from, helping you with your husbandly duties to, giving you clearer thought or more vim and vigor. There's some interesting looking bauble salespeople, a couple of tents that have what they purport to be rare and mysterious items for sale, things of that nature. The folks kind of closer to the front and maybe closer to the constabulary, which is a little at the north end of the market square, look to be a little less unsavory, a little more maybe like they've been here longer. They're probably regulars. They might be residents. That's where you see like your produce or cooked foods, some clothing, things of that nature.
Yeah, I think I would probably steer us in that direction.
Okay. Yeah, so you find a 2 or 3 different stalls that are serving like roasted meat on sticks, cooked vegetables, things of that nature. No sign of any sweets or treats or baked goods. There's one stall that sells all manner of breads, but nothing sweet or dessert like.
So what's your pleasure? What are you looking? What are you hungry for breakfast?
It is also new. I would like to try it all. It is the best way to get used to a new place, and if it is terrible, I do have a few ways of making it not so terrible. So as best to me and to you, it doesn't really matter.
You notice, as far as meat goes, there is an abundance of sheep, mutton, lamb, in various forms of preparation. Roast, cooked on a spit, sort of a kebab with vegetables, that sort of thing. There's even ground lamb, like in a stew, because that's a prime product of these parts. There's some bacon and ham, hog pieces, goat. Some snake. One of the booths has snake, if you fancy that. So there's no alcohol for sale. That might be a thing of interest. There's no alcohol.
What will you have? This snake looks quite delicious.
Well, I don't know if I'm quite ready to branch out that much. Is that what you eat a lot of back in your city of Chult?
We eat fruits, vegetables, lovely things. A snake, if it happens to be. Um, I come from the Wizarding Academy. We eat probably slightly better. Now I'm just a poor academy student, wandering and hungry.
Tell you what, why don't you pick something out and I'll pick something out and we can share. That way we
So,
both get to try two different things.
Algernon goes up to the stall and points to the snake on a stick. Yes, yes, one snake, and whatever my friend here shall have, and I shall pay.
Oh, hello, mate, then. Very well. I had just one snake, then. These are fresh caught this morning. Very good indeed. And you, then, sir? And he picks up what appears to be fried snake and hands it to you with kind of wrapped in some paper. And what for you, then? 2 copper on the snake there, mate.
He does a little kind of trick here, and almost like sleight of hand makes a gold coin appear.
Whoa. Hang on there. Give me that coin right there. Let me check that coin out.
Yes, it is. It is the coin of the local land. Yes.
He grabs it and bites it. All right, seems okay. It just came out of nowhere, you know. That's kind of strange.
Of course. The hand is faster than the eye sometimes.
Very well.
How
And
many, how many of them there gold coins can you pull out of thin air, friend?
Not out of thin air. Out of my meager savings for my travel and education.
That's quite a trick. I think I'm gonna like you. How about a nice bowl of fruit for breakfast?
Oh, all right then.
That
Very
would,
well.
That would go just.
And
perfect.
he puts together all manner of berries. There's a banana cut up in there, and he hands it to you. That'd be 1 copper, so 3 copper total. And this guy's needs a shave. He's a tall, skinny human male, probably mid-20s. Doesn't smell great. Seems decent enough though.
So he gives him the coin, and yes, I am not sure of how the math works. How much change do I get for this?
He looks at this gold coin and I just kind of do it simply. I do multiples of 10. So it'd be
Factors of 10.
10 copper is 1 silver, 10 silver is 1 gold, so 100 copper. So you're going to get 97 copper back with this gold piece because you're handing him 100 copper basically. All right, then let me see what I've got for change here. And he gives you back 9 silver and 3 copper and 7 copper. Here you go.
Yes.
And he's kind of holding this.
Thank you very much. Come on, my friend. And Al's gonna kind of grab, not like forcefully, but just kind of put him by the waist and kind of scurry off, maybe back towards where we saw some of the kind of baubles and other things, but mostly just to get away from that stall as quickly as possible.
He watches you guys and pockets the coin. And as you work your way kind of back to the center of the market square, there appears to be a group of people kind of gathering around a large post that you passed, and it looked like it had bulletins and signs and pronouncements and things on it. And there's a rather large human fellow in the livery of the constabulary, and he's hanging a sign on the signpost there, and he's not really even paying any attention to anybody, and there's a little bit of a minor uproar. Oh wow, oh my goodness, the Lord reward, you hear people kind of buzzing away as you approach, and what you see is a sign being tacked up, and it says in bold black letters across the top, "Wanted for thievery, most cunning." So it's some kind of a handbill or a wanted poster. and it lists a gentleman named Spurnick, and it has this caricature of a young male human, rat-like protruding ears, beady eyes, kind of strange-looking fellow. The list of charges that are under this fellow's name and likeness include theft, breaching the peace, rendering aid and abetment to the enemies of Daggerfalls, and then some other lesser offenses. Reward promised by the Lord. Meet 6 p.m. 18 Flame Rule at the Lord's Keep if interested in helping. People are all, buzzing. I'm not going. It's mostly common folk. And this guy tacks this up and just walks through the crowd, kind of not pushing his way rudely, but just, very focused, business-like.
Well, now that looks like trouble. Just begging to happen.
It says reward. The money.
The greater the money, the greater the risk, my friend.
A town this small is in need of people. We are new. If these problems could be solved by the locals, then they would.
Oh, I'm not saying I don't want anything to do with it. I mean, there's trouble and then there's trouble, right?
Yes, there is.
I mean, I got some things to do here in town, but we'll see. It could be something. It could turn into a nice tale to tell later.
Quite the learning experience.
Certainly.
All right.
Let's find us a place to sit and eat.
Yes, of course.
There are some trees inside the walls of the town. Mostly look to be trees that have been planted by the residents around their homes, that sort of thing. There's no real park or green space per se. Kind of your choices were, the Dagger Reforge, the Temple of Lathander, or the little tiny warehouse district, as far as
I'd probably
places of note.
If there's not like benches or anything, I'd probably just look for like a wall that I could with my back against.
Sure, yeah. The Market Square area is along the south wall, so you could find an empty stretch of wall, maybe a shade tree, and sit and eat your breakfast and chat. Absolutely.
As I go to sit, I'll kind of like hesitate for a second and kind of like awkwardly grab my cape and kind of like swing it around the front of me, like, all right, and then I'll try to kind of gingerly sit and not get too dirty.
Okay. It's dry, so the grass, what little there is kind of crunchy. Yeah, but you can manage to do that. Algernon, what were you going to say, sir?
Algernon's just going to have a seat right next to him. The wear isn't as important. He's been kind of traveling, so he's not so concerned about getting dirty.
Okay. All right, so you two can enjoy your brunch, your breakfast, and we're going to fade to black, and we are going to reopen the curtain at the Dagger Reforged, because I believe our final two party members who have yet to be introduced officially are probably somewhere in or around that establishment. And it is late morning, and so I don't know who wants to go first. Maybe describe your character, what they're doing, and I would assume that they may be within view of the other character, so I'll leave it to either Gears or Fragile.
I can do it.
Okay.
All right. Well, so you see you might not know it's an Aasimar yet because I don't have like my wings out. You see a fairly lithe, middle height, 5'6", 5'7", female. She's wearing black chainmail shirt. She's got some silver pauldrons on. She's got a silver necklace with a skull of a bird medallion sitting in the middle of her chest. She's got some bracers on, and she's got a sword that she seems to be carrying pretty confidently on her side. It's also got a little skull in the palm and the handle, and the pommel's a garnet. And she's got long black hair. She's got a couple of braids coming down the side, kind of Viking-ish. And she's in the middle of singing when you first see her. She's singing in kind of a lilty voice, talking about, I am my mother's child, I am savage. She looks for her omens in the color of stone. And then she quickly, there's a little area outside where people can entertain themselves throwing daggers. And she turns around and she quickly goes, one eye, two eye, no eyes, and both of her daggers hit the target. She goes after her daggers, and she gets them and kind of skips back to where she threw them the first time. And you hear yell, Mr. Willow, I just heard some banging. Are they finally gonna do something? Is they finally posting a wanted poster or something? I'm getting a little anxious. And then she starts singing to herself again, and pulls out and reaches into a side pouch, and she starts popping raisins up into the air and catching them in her mouth, and turns around and starts singing again. And after a few minutes, she turns and she whips her daggers again back at the target. And as soon as she does, this time she doesn't have anything clever to say, but she's mumbling to herself, and she almost sounds like a man when she's mumbling this time, talking basically something to the effect of, I can't believe I missed that bad. And so she kind of glumly looks like she walks up and grabs the daggers, but she turns around and she kind of got a little mischievous look on her face, and she heads back like, I'm going to get it right this time, and it goes back and starts looking again at the target.
Why, Miss Fragile, what on earth was that? Says a voice from behind the bar, and you recognize that as the middle-aged, balding, kind of stocky, it's still kind of fit, voice of one Carrie Willow, the gentleman who appears to be the manager of the Dagger Reforged.
Well, which part, Mr. Willow?
Well, that last throw wasn't quite like your normal aim. Is something on your mind, young lady?
I feel like there's something incredible's going to happen, some adventure, and I'm going to miss out on it. And I've been, no offense. I mean, you really kind of been really sweet to me and whatnot, and I know I've done some good work for you, but I need some more adventure.
I understand.
I can only clean so many things for you.
That is not an uncommon sentiment here in Dagger Falls, let me assure you. And he leans over and looks at the... one thing that you've been a little curious about, Fragile, is this person, this character that's been sitting about the Dagger Reforged, always on their own, always like covered head to toe in some fabric covering, always with a meal in front of them, but you're not sure if they're actually eating it. Always very quiet. And Carrie leans over and looks, yes, Gears, you have everything you need over there, my friend.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. And before you is, as Wiley has described, a hulking figure, seated, looks quite large, massive even. You've probably seen them move about, however briefly, within the tavern confines. They're at least 6.5 feet tall, just massive. The floor has grown as they walk by. You've probably seen deliveries brought in large tons of beer, ale, what have you, to the tavern, and the sounds of the workmen bringing those in, the creaking of the floors is akin to that. It's as though someone very, very heavy were moving about. Gears, this individual is indeed covered from head to toe in a loose-fitting cloak and what for the life of anyone might look like an incredibly long kilt that goes directly down to the floor. So their form is essentially obscured from general view, and they are incredibly still occasionally when Willow decides to engage with this character who does not speak much. It's usually fairly clipped tones and fairly monotone.
Well, if you need anything, you just let me know. And he kind of scratches his head, like, just... You notice that Carrie looks you over every time you interact, and it's like as if he can't quite figure out what you're all about.
To be fair, that's the idea. So, Gears will move their head a bit and say, employment. What is this I have heard of a reward?
Yes, go ahead.
He's still talking to Willow, I take it.
Well, my friend Fragile over here is getting a little itchy in the britches for some adventure. And as you both know, we've had a bit of excitement here in Daggerfall the last couple of days, what with the theft and murder of one of the deputy constables and the hanging. But I understand that the Lord has issued a statement, a wanted, a poster, if you will, and Lorovar, the owner of this fine establishment, has gone to fetch
What?
a copy of the
How long have
document.
you known about this?
Now, Fragile, just relax. And in the door, a ray of sunshine, as the door is pulled open, in walks a I like your use of the word lithe, Fragile, so I'm going to steal it. A very lithe male, youngish, pointed ears, short cropped dark hair, leathers, greenish weathered cloak, longbow, long sword, into the inn, and he's holding a piece of paper, and he thumps it down on the bar. All right, Carrie, you're right. Lord Cromero requesting help. You were right. You called it. And he walks around the bar and heads into the office without saying anything to anyone, just looking around, and heads into the back.
I'm gonna flash a look at Willow and kind of have a what is it that you were who is he? How have I been here for a week and I haven't seen him?
Ah, yes, that's
He
Master.
just walked into the office.
That's Master Lorovar. He's the owner of the Dagger Reforged. If you recall me telling you, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't recall. He purchased this fine establishment for me about 2 years ago. He and I go way back. Yeah, we go way back, and so this is his establishment here. He's not around a lot, and he tends to keep to himself unless he finds it necessary to do otherwise. But you said you were thirsting for some adventure, and I think you'll find this to be perhaps right up your alley, young lady. And you too. He kind of hollers over at Gears, and he holds up this thing and it says, "Oh, yeah, this is it right here. Wanted for thievery, most cunning. Some fella by the name of Spurnick, strange looking chap. I'll show you here in a minute, but he's wanted for theft, breaching the peace, rendering aid and abetment to the enemies of Daggerfall, all things that don't go over well with Constable Zal and Lord Cormiran. And in fact, the Lord is offering a reward and has called anyone who's willing to perhaps help with this matter to meet at the Lord's Keep at 6 p.m. this evening."
Oh, I'm down. I'm gonna glance over. So Gears probably see I've got a lavender eyes, and I kind of look over at him, and I'm kind of trying to gauge what I think about him to begin with. Because he's so quiet. So you down for some adventure? Can you handle some adventure? Or are you just big?
Gears gets up, rises to his full 6'5", massive bulk, pulls up a huge glaive that looks quite worn. You don't see any extremities doing this. It's just smoothly done under the cover of the folds of the cloak. And they move over to the bar to look down on this piece of paper and take in what it says and whatever description there is, if there's a drawing or a rendering or something like that. And look over at you, say, "This is acceptable. We shall go." What time is it at this point? It's like midday or close to.
It's probably approaching the noon meal hour.
Yeah.
So we're willing, like real talker. This should be interesting.
I think that's a safe assumption. Interesting's probably the right word, indeed. Yep.
Well, come on. What is your name, sir?
You may call me Gears.
Gears. Okay. Cool. So, I'll just put you in front of me and things can hit you and then I'll hit them. Does that sound like a plan?
I would rather not be hit, but that's usually why I make sure that I hit first. They don't get back up.
So, I'm gonna ask him if he wants. I don't know if there's anywhere in town, but I'm gonna want to see if he wants to do a little like sword play beforehand. I'm getting rusty, so if there's anywhere in town, I would welcome the chance to spar with him.
Mm-hmm. You'd reckon the best place for that might be in the constabulary barracks inside the walls there. There's probably a space where that could be done. Obviously under the watchful eye of the deputies, but that would also preclude you from being mistaken for having an actual fight, which probably wouldn't go over well. Yeah.
Well, if you're bored, Gears, and I need to hone my skills.
I would be pleased to watch.
Me win? Okay, I'm down with that. And I'm gonna start walking towards the door.
You all
Reach in my pouch, start pulling out some more raisins. And as I'm leaving, I'm gonna do. Willow, you promised me seeds. I'm waiting on my seeds.
They'll be here in due time, I'm sure. But y'all, if you plan to spar, you might want to take that into the constabulary barracks. Otherwise, they may mistake you for having an actual disagreement.
Yeah, I'll go talk to Zal. We're buddies now.
Right.
We'll go have a conversation.
Right. Buddies. I don't think Zal has any buddies, but I know you've been introduced at the very least.
He just doesn't know it yet.
He kind of winks at you and shakes his head. Well, good luck with that. So you guys head out of the Dagger Reforged?
Towards the office.
Yeah, I think Gears will follow out of curiosity, if nothing else. It's, they are, I think, mildly amused at the notion that someone wants to spar. They wonder who the spar partner will be.
Okay. So are you heading out of the tavern and inn? Tavern and inn? It is a small inn as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So
It's the
you...
only way to get to the constabulary.
Right. So you're going to make your way west through town to the constabulary barracks. And I think what I'm going to do right here is we're going to call just a quick 5-minute break for any necessary things that need to occur. So we'll set this thing on the break screen and mute everybody. And we will be back in about 5 minutes. So chat, don't go away. Hang out and you'll see how or maybe if I am able to somehow wrangle all 6 people into the same moment and space together by some mystical dungeoneering magical means. So hang tight, please don't go away. Come back to see what happens, and it sounds like maybe we're going to be rolling some dice here as we get some sparring going on. So we'll see you very, very shortly. All right. Whew, that was the best break we've taken all night. Excellent. Okay, so we've got kind of 3 little vignettes going on in Daggerfalls. Each character is with one of the other characters. And so I'd like to go back to Fragile and Gears. They're going to make their way through Daggerfalls, kind of due west to the gate that's in the walls that surround the constabulary barracks. And you two are able to do that without any issue. Although you will notice you get a few looks. Fragile, you not as much. But Gears for sure. People just don't know what...
A little offended.
Yeah. Yeah. People just don't know what to make of how you look, Gears, as you work your way through. And it's midday, so people are out. Laborers are out at the market stands in line to buy lunches and things. Folks are out and about. But you don't have any trouble making your way through at all. You get a couple of odd looks from the deputy constables that you encounter along the way. And for Geely, you might get a couple of maybe lengthier gazes from some of the militia and other gentlemen as you make your way through. But you have no trouble finding your way to the constabulary barracks, and you're greeted as soon as you enter the gate. You're greeted by a rather large fellow, and by large I mean not quite Gears' height and stature, but pretty close. And he has a different color tabard, and maybe an air of importance about him that you hadn't noticed amongst some of the others. And he kind of stops you. Yes, good morning. May I help you, please? Lieutenant Balver.
Oh, hey, how you doing? You remember me? We met at the funeral.
I don't recall meeting you,
Right.
miss.
Oh, man. Oh, you're killing me. I was with Mr. Willow.
Carrie?
You know, your predecessor.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm not the constable. I'm Lieutenant Balver. Zal is in the is inside the.
Apparently, I'm the one with a poor memory.
Apparently, yes. What can we do for you two? He kind of looks over Gears. Well, I haven't seen you around either. You're a strange one. What's your
My
business?
friend Gears.
What's your business?
We'd like to spar a little bit. We'd like to practice. We heard there's a warrant out for somebody, and we just thought we might hone our fighting skills a little bit and
Oh,
get some practice in case
Plan-
we have to come to blows with whoever this villain is.
planning on coming to the Lord's Keep this evening, I see then.
Absolutely.
Well, we do. It's not customary, but you don't have a disagreement, do you? It's just a sparring situation, correct?
Nah, he don't talk enough to have a disagreement with anyone.
Okay, he looks you over. Well, we do have a training area just to the northeast of the barracks here, and he kind of starts to walk you in the direction that he nodded, and takes you into a kind of a fenced-in area, and you can see that they've got set up various apparatus for training, whether it be physical fitness training type gear or lifting of weights and things, to sort of like mannequin sort of padded or wooden likenesses of humanoid forms that have got notches and chunks taken out of them from blades and so forth. And might I ask that you use the padded weapons rather than your own blades? Would that be... I'd hate to see anyone get hurt.
Yeah. I'm down with that.
He looks over at Gears. You haven't said a word. You sure you want to do this?
Who? What? This one wants to spar?
With
Are
you?
Sparring? Me?
No, I'm not sparring. I believe you are.
Oh. No. This is a bad idea.
Oh, Gears, you lead me along the whole time.
You are fragile.
You're slow. I mean, it evens out, right?
No. It would
Come
not.
on. First to 3 hits. You can pull your blows, can't you? I mean, if you're a great warrior, you should be able to hold up and not cleave me in half.
That would defeat the point of defeating the enemy.
All right, well. Lieutenant, you want to spar?
Oh. I've never sparred a civilian.
Come on.
Jeez,
How you
but,
gonna know if I'm even worthy of going on this hunt for your criminal?
All right. You're on. And he grabs a padded longsword. What's your weapon, young lady?
Longsword.
He tosses one to you. And he stops and regards
I'll
you.
grab it out of midair.
Yeah, he stops and regards you pretty thoroughly, studying you. And he closes the fence, the door in the fence, so that it's just the 3 of you back there. And he takes a fighting stance. So first to 3 hits wins, let's say, drinks, dinner. Oh, well, dinner. How about just drinks?
All right.
Mrs. Balver might frown on me having dinner with another lady. Yeah.
The drinks are okay, huh? Okay.
So, and we'll have drinks at the Dagger.
Oh. Fine establishment. Just give me a second. She's gonna walk over and kind of turn away from him, and Gears would probably see. She's got a bracelet on her wrist. It looks like silver and something black, maybe a city and maybe onyx. And it looks like it's the shapes of feathers. And she's gonna grab it and kind of just lean down, and she's gonna say in a kind of a deep voice that again sounds kind of manly and not right straight. Mother, bless my blade. Let me hit this guy. Let me hit him hard. And she turns around, and she's got this wild, crazy look on her face. She's like, "You ready to go?"
He doesn't answer right away. He's kind of looking down with his eyes closed, and you see his hand is clutching something hanging on a gold chain. And then he kind of lets it go and looks up. Okay. And there's some sort of something hanging on a chain at his neck over the tabard.
Perception.
Okay, go ahead and roll that.
That's 5.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like some sort of a gold
Except
gold pendant, and he, kind of loosens himself up, takes a couple swings. Boy, sorry for the balance on these, but if you're half the warrior you seem to carry yourself as, then that probably shouldn't matter. And he kind of takes a fighting stance. And let's roll initiative as you two begin to kind of circle one another. Gears, what are you doing for this?
They're just standing there watching.
Okay. What do you have there, Fragile?
I have a 12.
Okay. So as you two kind of circle, and he kind of, makes a couple of half feints towards you, you have the option to take first action.
Okay. So I'm going to come in and kind of try and judge how he's standing, and I think I'm going to try and come in low and see if I can score a hit on his legs.
Okay. You see that he's wearing splint.
That is...
Good.
He's wearing splint?
Yeah, he's wearing splint mail. He's got the tabard over that. So this dude is even more heftily armored than the folks you've seen that have been in like chain shirts or chainmail.
Okay. I just got to see what my plus is to hit.
Yep.
That is a 17.
Okay, so your blade, your padded blade, finds purchase on the back of his thigh, and you give him a good whop with that as he tries to sidestep you, and you just barely catch it with the tip of your padded weapon. And he kind of grimaces and shakes his head. Well, you're a quick one, aren't you?
Scary, but sweet.
And
Well, gotta be.
once
I'm
you
built like
make your move, he tries to come straight in and catch you in the ribs while you're open from your attack, and he just finds nothing but air as he just lunges forward and goes right under your arm and misses. And then he's right beside you, and you feel the sword, the padded sword, kind of graze your shoulder with a second attack. But alas, doesn't find purchase. So far it's 1-0, and he kind of resets, and it is your turn.
I'm doing a little ducking and juking out of the way, and trying just to keep him confused. All right. Unbeknownst to him, I'm gonna kind of put my Hexblade curse on him, so it doesn't really show here any signs that the person knows that they're cursed. Just gives me a little bonus to hitting him. He kind of scared me. I noticed he got in 2 swings for my 1. I'm not really digging that.
What does it look like, or sound like, or both, when you cast your Hexblade's curse bonus action?
If he's listening, basically, I'm calling on my queen to strengthen my arms. Is what he would come out with.
Okay, very well. Go ahead and make your attack.
Oh, I did. That's a crit.
Okay. In this case, what I'm going to do is say that your crit counts as 2 hits. So you step up. Describe what this looks like as you get 2 quick hits on this guy.
Yeah, so I come around and I hit him on the leg the first time, and I had to roll to come out of it. And I actually get him once on the back with my sword. And because he's off balance, I come back around the other way. And I barely managed to get it in between the joints by his elbow.
Okay. So he stops. Well, kind of snorts. And he lays his blade in the dust at your feet and kind of awkwardly bows. Well, young lady, you've bested one of the finest blades in the constabulary. You know your way around a battlefield, I can see, so I owe you some drinks.
What's his last name again?
This is Lieutenant Balver.
I'm like, nah. You go buy Mrs. Balver a drink for me. You guys go have a drink together.
He kind of regards you. Well, how about mind we keep this to ourselves? And he kind of looks around. He looks over at Gears and gives him a stony look.
and I wink at him and I tell him it's our secret, big guy. It's our secret. Well, and Gears back here, but I'm sure he's not going to tell anybody.
Okay. Goodness. And he kind of wipes his brow. That was something. Seems a little annoyed with himself. But you get the distinct sense that he took this very seriously. And, knows he just got bested. And he's okay with that. Now, you say that you're going to be attending the meeting with the Lord this evening.
Right?
Is that correct?
New friend Gears here with me.
Well, let me, if I may, let me send some information with you, if you have a few more moments. And he invites you to enter one of the buildings. It looks like maybe it's a kind of an office type space, and holds the door open for you both to enter. You as well there, fella. He kind of looks at you funny, still trying to figure out what's going on with Gears.
Gears will move into the office with Fragile.
And he goes around behind a counter, where you two can stand on one side, and he goes, kind of behind it. So, I'm the lieutenant here, the constabulary. I report directly to Zal, constable, and I'm in charge of this investigation from our side of things. And so the fellow that was hanged yesterday, and he kind of makes a nod in the direction of the gallows that's in the outer courtyard of the constabulary barracks. We questioned that fella. His name was Ty Beam, and that's all we could get out of him. And we questioned him all day and all night. Deprived his senses of light, sound. We kept him isolated. Didn't feed him. Poured a lot of cold water on him. The usual. And we got nothing.
Nothing. No.
Wouldn't say a word about what they were doing,
No emotion.
why they were in the Lord's personal library. But I've heard
No markings.
just a human, very nondescript. But I've heard an individual fitting Spurnick's description headed east along the River Tesh toward the Dragonspire Mountains. But that's out of my jurisdiction. But I will give you this. And he goes behind the counter and digs out a piece of paper that's torn, like it's been torn out of a book or a sheaf of paper. And it's been folded over once. He hands it to you. I wasn't sure what to make of this. Perhaps the Lord will know, or you can use this as part of your investigation. And he hands it to you.
Okay, I'm going to take a quick look at it. I'm going to kind of open it up. I'm going to make sure Gears can see it too.
Yeah. So it's torn off and scrawled in common. It says sheaf of vellum, and then there's like parentheses 1. And then below that it says chalk dust, and in parentheses 1 pound sack. And then below that it says leather case. And he just kind of watches you look over the list. I figure since you're hanging out with old Carrie Willow and you plan to see the Lord, I can trust you with this, but I'll know where to find you. So don't do me wrong by me giving you this now.
Oh, no. We'll definitely go talk to Mr. Will, see if anything about these odd concoctions. Sheath of vellum, pound of chalk dust. Gears, any idea?
No.
Well, it would mean a lot to me if you could bring this fella back alive, if you know what I mean. And he kind of looks up at the gallows again.
And the book? Is there a name of a book I should be looking for?
I don't rightly know what all was taken. That's probably going to be something that you can discuss when you see the Lord.
All right. Well, come on, Gears. Let me go feed you again. And I'm going to start heading back towards... What?
We had what Gears heads out anyway.
And as you leave the office, he kind of, and I meant what I said about bringing that Spurnick fella back here alive. Micah was a trainee of mine. I brought him into the constabulary, and I'd like to, so get that fella back here alive if you can.
Yeah, I saw the look on his poor widow's face. We'll definitely bring him back here for some justice.
And with that, he
We're
just
gonna
kind of
head back out.
disappears further back into the office and lets you take your leave. And we're going to cut back to Calavera and Ronvin on the porch of the Teshford Arms. Ronvin, you're enjoying a lovely bacon and eggs breakfast. Awesome mint tea, all tingly and invigorating and fresh. And you see Calavera step out.
Yeah, so she's drinking her tea, and every time she drinks it, she goes, scrunches her nose and goes, and then she looks up and she says, "Oh, hi."
I cannot tell if that is a good face.
Yeah, very good, very good. It's all it makes my fingers and my nose tingle.
That would be the mint. They told me about this when I first showed up. Is that they have the mint farm that they take care of, and they make a lot of things that are very minty. And then they insist that I try the mint wine. Have they told you that you should try the wine yet?
Yes, but it's too early in the morning. Not that I'm a big drinker, anyways. But it's too early for wine. Would you like some bacon? Bacon's good.
I would not want to impede, but that is the friendly thing to do. And she's kind of like, there's kind of this moment that you can see she's like thinking through it. She's like, yes, of course. Yes.
Yes. Hi, I'm Ronvin. This is, she points at her little bird. This is Miss Penny Swoops, and this is my bacon. And now, and she pushes like half of it over. And now, this is your bacon, Miss.
I am Calavera. I do not have a bird with me.
Oh, that's okay.
I did not.
Miss Penny, we'll hang out with you too. Not that she talks much. I haven't decided yet what she's gonna sound like, but yeah.
You get to decide what she sounds like?
Well, she hasn't told me yet. Not that she can, but yes, because I made her. She's made from copper. She's totally normal, right?
You can see that she's trying to process this. It's not quite clicking in her head.
It's all right, Miss Calla. Go eat bacon. And she drinks some more mint tea and does the funny face like.
But I have heard that you have just come into town, and
Yes.
I was told by Oliver that I should be making more friends with people.
Oh, I love friends. There's not a lot of friends I had back in the Shaman Fort. I don't know.
Where is that?
Oh, that's in Mistwell. It's just not that far from here. It's where my father and my uncle have their smithy. So yeah. So I have no friends here. So yes, I'll definitely be your friend. And Miss Penny will be your friend too.
Well, that is excellent. Then we have figured it out.
Yes, very good. Where are you from?
Oh, I have been traveling for a long while, and I don't really. I mean, it is about, all the places you are going instead of where you come from.
True. This is the first place I've gone to, so.
Is it? This is a
Yeah.
very good place to be.
That's good. Yeah, and you can tell that she's very, very sheltered, because she doesn't even consider that you might not be a friend.
There's a lot of really nice people that you can meet. I've kind of been going about from place to place because I came here and I decided that I wanted to stay and work a bit, and there's a lot of different places that you can work, and they've all been very, very polite.
That's nice. I came here because my friend Sarah said I should come here because she said there's people who need help.
Well, of course there are. It depends on the kind of help, I think. I'm constantly asking people if they need help. Oh, actually, now that I think, what kind of help do you do?
I haven't figured that out yet, but I'll be willing to try. What do you need help with?
Oh, well, it's not me. I don't think that I need help with anything, but I know that Oliver showed me Is it safe to assume she probably took like the paper with her? Like they probably have a couple copies of the wanted poster.
Yep. Yeah, he gave it to you to take.
And oh, for me.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. And she pulls out the poster and she goes, I'm not sure. I mean, this looks like something that might be dangerous, but I think that's the kind of thing that some people are looking to do for helping.
Oh, okay. And she looks at it and she's like, well, would you mind showing me where this is? I mean, it's not 6 o'clock yet, and we're still eating bacon. But maybe later you can show me, and I can show you how to make friends.
We can do that. Have I been to the where is it send us to the Lord's?
You have not been to the Lord's
have I been
Keep,
up there?
but you know where it is. You would know how to get there. But you've not had reason. I mean, nobody really goes there unless they're on some kind of actual business. But yeah,
I'm guessing that I haven't had any work
Yeah.
up there.
you know that you have to enter through the constabulary barracks. But yeah, that's
Okay,
that's pretty
so
much
I know
what you
where
got.
it is.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, we'd have to go up through town, and then we'd have to go through the barracks, which I'm heading up there anyway, maybe because Ella said that she might have some food that I can bring up there, and I've actually thought I've gone up there to work a little bit, and they're all very polite there, so maybe I can show you then, or also later. I'm not sure if you're busy today.
No, I'm not busy at all. I'll come with you. I can help you make friends on the way, and I can meet whoever you already have made friends with. I like friends.
It sounds like a plan.
Yay! Now let's eat bacon.
We eat bacon and drink tea.
And it's an absolutely glorious morning on the porch at the Teshford Arms. You got that beautiful breeze. You get the smell of the river, and I don't mean like dead fish gross smell. I mean it's not one of those Midwestern brown rivers. You're in hill country, so the water's a little clearer, a little bluer, and it just smells. Yeah, Oliver comes out, and just to check, how's it going out here? Breakfast okay? And he picks up your empty plate.
Of course it is. It's always very, very good.
Ah.
Thank you so much, Oliver.
Oh, you're certainly welcome. Any more tea or anything else to drink? Feel free to spend as much time out here as you like. I'll get you some fresh hot water. How's that? And a couple of new tea bags. And he scurries inside. And as you're sitting on the porch, you're just taking it all in. You see a couple of characters walking up the lane. And by characters, I mean a couple of individuals. And it's none other than Rue and Algernon, who have come in search of sweet baked goods. And they were kind of given some information in the market square that they might find such confections at the Teshford Arms. And so as you two are enjoying your tea, you see these two fellows walk up and approach the front porch.
You can see Calaveras just kind of taking a moment to take in everything that's happening here, especially like the bright colored robes. There's just kind of a lot happening, and you can see the processing.
Well, hey, good morning, ladies. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
You are new to town, I think.
That's right. Just arrived this morning.
It it seems obvious to most people.
Well, I've sort of seen some other people around town, and this is not a very large town, I think, and so it is something where you can pretty easily tell the different faces of the people that you meet.
Ah, very good. Well, allow me to put the name to my face. Algernon Altano, wizard extraordinaire. And he takes like a deep kind of formal bow to the ladies.
Hi,
Well,
I'm Ronwyn, and this is Miss Penny Swoops. It's very nice to meet you. And I don't know why Miss Keller said she doesn't know how to make friends, because she surely does.
Well, I never said I didn't. I just said that I was told that I need to be making more. But I was told that a couple days ago, so maybe I've actually done that so far, perhaps? I am Calavera.
well, it's a pleasure. I'm no extraordinaire, but the name's Rue Shahar.
I am wondering, what exactly is it that makes a wizard extraordinaire?
Much study, a desire to be better, and hopefully being the only wizard in a very small town.
Do I know if there are any other wizards in this town?
None you've heard of.
She just kind of nods solemnly.
He just kind of quick throws up a little thing and makes some sparks, just a harmless little trick, and then kind of another little deep bow, like a street magic trick.
And there's just kind of oh, you mean like, and she flicks her hand up, and a little like a flame appears in it. Is it something like this? Yes.
Ah, very nice, very nice. I would love to learn one day.
I do not think I would know how to teach this. But she
Is that kind of like this? And she just like, she copies the hand gesture, and she uses the light cantrip like this, like that.
It is a fun morning.
Ron is here like,
Just starts throwing sparks everywhere, like we're just lighting up the front porch like crazy people.
Yeah, Rue is just like looking back and forth between the three of you, like, wow, looks like we've got several extraordinaires among us.
we have discovered cantrips.
After a couple of moments, Rue and Algernon, you notice a heavy-set, kind of balding, less than fit gentleman come out, middle-aged. Is everything okay out here? I'm seeing lights and fire.
Yes, it is, Oliver. We're just showing off some of the things that we can do. Remember when I found out I could do this, and she does it again?
And it never ceases to startle him when you do that. Oh yes, the charming fire thing. Yes, okay. Well then, and before he finishes, he turns and walks off. Very good, very well. And you hear him barking orders and so forth. And Ella comes out. Yes, so you have additional visitors. Gentlemen, can I help you with anything? Something to eat or drink? It's a little early for our mint wine, but mint tea?
Actually, I have come here on a very important quest. I heard
Take
that
some tea,
you
it
have...
tingles.
What was that?
You take some tea, it tingles.
Oh.
Ella
I
nods.
might try that, but I heard that you have the finest bakery on this side of the Forgotten Realm.
Din's dumpling and desserts, no less. Absolutely, yes. And Din is in.
I'd love to try this out.
Excellent. Would you like to come inside and see what she's prepared for today?
Absolutely.
Very well. Follow me. And she leads you into the tap room bar area of the Teshford Arms. And straight ahead is the bar. And just to the right, kind of in the corner, is what looks to be it's been constructed in there since it's newer construction than the actual tap room, but it's not new construction. And there's like a little service window, and you see a very familiar face kind of bustling about in the service area, disappearing in and out of what presumably might be the kitchen, as she is fussing about with things.
There are a lot of people around.
There's a couple what you would assume to be maybe regulars seated at the bar, having a conversation and maybe a coffee and a tea. And there's a few tables over kind of to the left and around the corner. It opens up into the tap room, and there's a few people at a few tables, but it's by no means packed.
Okay. I will go over to where the young lady is bustling about.
Yes, so this hair is kind of back in a bun, little blonde-headed, kind of curly and thick halfling woman. And she hustles about and stops and looks up. Oh, yes, yes, may I help you?
Yes, I heard that you have cupcakes around here that will keep people talking about them for years to come.
She fans herself and blushes. Why, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Very well. How many would you like? Today's flavor is a vanilla cake and a chocolate frosting.
I think a nice dozen would do just perfectly. I can share
very
some
well.
with my friends.
Very well. Very well. She looks at you kind of curiously. All right, then. Just wait just a moment. That'll be 2 silver. And she kind of goes back into the back and disappears. The doors kind of flappity flap, that sort of thing. And people watch and kind of look over at you, the folks from the bar. Not suspicious, not staring, but clearly they've never seen you. And they would expect to only see people they are accustomed to. You know, you're clearly not from around here. After a few moments, she comes out with a small box, and it's kind of got a twine around it to keep the lid down. Here you are, then. 3 silver for the cupcakes.
I will pull out a gold piece and kind of lean over the counter to give it to her.
Her eyes get really big when she sees it, and she kind of smiles. Yes.
And I will go to place it in her hand and kind of whisper under my breath, "Din, it's me, Boots."
Her eyes get really big. And she kind of steps back a second and looks at you. She takes the coin and makes change, 7 silver, back on the... She leans in and looks around. I'm sorry, what did you say?
It's me, Din.
It is you. You don't look
Remember
like...
when that gnome tinkerer built you that bicycle contraption? And
It
rode it all around
is
the way?
you. How have you been? I thought you were in... I thought...
Look,
What?
I need to talk to you sometime later.
Are you in town for a while?
I can be.
Oliver here has lovely rooms. If you need a place to stay,
That would be perfect.
they're one silver for the evening. I think that's right. Anyway, he could help you out. Yes, and enjoy your cupcakes.
Definitely, I think.
And she is...
I'm sure they will be.
She is flustered. You could tell her mind's racing. She kind of, a little bit of her hair is falling down. She kind of, and she, in a cloud of like flour, goes back into the back and vanishes. And she's almost short enough she can walk under the swinging. They're like those Dutch doors that don't go to the floor or the top of the doorway. And she can almost walk under them. She kind of just puts her hand up above her head and pushes them open to go through them. And, in a twinkling, she's gone.
Okay. I will make arrangements with Oliver for a room for the night, and then go back and
Okay, yeah, easily done. It's 1 silver. You'll be on the 3rd floor, 1st room at the top of the stairs. Very well. Okay, and you go back out on the porch, you said?
Yeah, I'll take the bag back out and say, I have been waiting to taste these for many months. I think that it's going to be an experience to die for.
Oh, what kind of flavor was she making today? I didn't have a chance to check yet.
Apparently vanilla.
Ooh.
And I will
Ooh.
pass the bag around.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Thank you. Mm.
So these cupcakes are moist. They're nicely vanilla, not real sweet. There's a nuttiness to them, probably because you could tell there's little minced nuts of some kind that just give it a little crunch. And then the chocolate icing is thick. It's like a more of a mocha than a milk chocolate. So the vanilla and the chocolate really contrast. Very nice, like really nice.
Is the best thing I've had since I came to this country. This is delicious. Thank you, my friend.
I imagine like the first bite that rotates into this thing, like he for several seconds just has his eyes closed and is just like in another state of existence.
Make me a con save at disadvantage.
What did she do to these things?
Your DC is 15.
No, failed.
Okay.
15.
You find yourself overwhelmed with emotion. Joy, bittersweetness, and peace are just enveloping you as you dive into this very, very familiar cupcake. This is a thing you've not tasted in, as you said, many years. And it is all you can do to keep your composure in front of your new friends. Feel free to continue on and describe that in any way you wish.
Yeah, no, I think like as soon as he takes a bite out, he just like freezes in place with his eyes shut.
Is he okay?
Is he okay? Can I tell?
Roll insight.
Oh, I think I am good at that. I need to look at my character sheet. I am good at that. I am not good at that. That is a 7.
Yeah, you're puzzled. He's just... I mean, obviously something has caught him.
Excuse me?
Oh. Yes, I'm sorry.
It is not a bad cupcake. Are you alright?
No, it's a wonderful cupcake. It's
Okay.
quite delicious.
Okay, good. Because I haven't had to deal with anyone sick today, and I would not like to do that again.
No, we thought you were sick for a moment, but I'm glad you're not, because these cupcakes are good, and I would be sad if they would make me sick.
No,
This is the first thing in this country I have truly enjoyed that I did not need to help out with my talents.
Well, what kind of things have you been eating then?
snakes.
It was delicious. You missed out.
You
Wait
ate
until he
snake?
tells you about the dinosaurs he knows of back in the city of Chult.
Dinosaurs.
Apparently.
Sure.
It is very far away. It is they're large lizards, not quite dragons, but just cousins maybe.
There's a very blank expression on her face as she's like just kind of nodding along.
It is not important.
Dinosaurs. Do you eat the
I've heard of that
dinosaurs?
before. Are they good eating? Are they? Do they taste like chicken?
We serve them at feasts. One dinosaur goes a long way. Feeds many people. Regular family meals, not so much. It is too much. Freezing food is hard in Chult. It's very warm.
That does make sense, I think. Yes.
Oh, so they're like cows.
Sure.
Big and feed everybody. Good. I like cows. Cows are nice.
If cows are nice, then why are you eating them?
Because they can't fight back. Because they're nice.
It is the natural cycle of things, I suppose.
Totally has never thought about that before. You can see in her eyes like, why do we eat cows?
The dinosaurs definitely do fight back.
Oh, okay. Well, if they're good eating, right? I mean, you know, we eat bacon, and you know, pigs can be mean.
Ah, yes, dinosaurs. They eat pigs whole, 2, 3 at a time. Wondrous beasts.
Not even I can do that, and I'm always hungry. Okay, you know what? I like dinosaurs. Maybe I gotta make one, make it like Miss Penny.
I could describe it as best I could. Apparently, this is not a thing that is very well known outside of my country.
No, never heard of it. Never even read about it in a book.
Rue is kind of staring off into the middle distance with his cupcake in hand.
Are you sure that you are okay?
Yes,
What's that?
The refund.
Okay, that goes in your college savings account.
My savings.
Which
Yeah, that's
which one
yours.
did you eat? I feel I did not enjoy it as much as you did.
Well, I suppose I have a bit of a sweet tooth.
Maybe several teeth.
I'm sure I did not enjoy the snake nearly as much as you did. It was fine and all, but you know.
You did not try. It was delicious. Great thing to wake up in the morning.
A lovely cupcake is so much better.
The snake does sound okay, but the cupcakes are very good.
Is that old laptop still trying?
As they say, when in waters deep, do as water Dagians do.
Waterdeep?
It is a city far from here. It's how I came to this country.
Okay, not another country.
No, it is a
Okay.
big city.
Right. So what are you are traveling here, what are you traveling here to do? And Calavera is probably she's probably poured out tea for everyone because there's plenty to go around, might as well.
Yeah, I travel around. I don't like stay in one place too long of a time. World's just too big of a place. There's too much to see, too many places to go.
I am wizarding student on foreign study that I would like to see and meet with other wizards outside of my academy. So travel around place to place, solving minor magical problems as best I can in small villages.
Speaking of which, we heard that there's some thief that needs capturing. Did we get a copy of that? Or was there only one of those placards in the square, Wiley?
There was a couple of them on different signposts, so you could have maybe snagged one.
Yeah. So, you have a copy of that there sign, Al?
Calavera holds
yes.
up her copy.
Yeah,
yes,
just like that.
I grabbed it. It seemed like a problem that maybe a wizard could be helpful in.
Perhaps. It could be. I suppose if this is someone who is dangerous, some magics might be helpful.
He kind of holds his hand up in the same gesture that you all made. I'm afraid I don't really have magic, but I'm a man of many skills and talents. I'm sure I can find some way to contribute.
Probably. I mean, it's probably something dangerous. I don't know if you heard, but there was somebody who died the other night. To the other people that were, the ones that they are hunting down. I don't know if hunting is the right word. That sounds a little much. But it's probably something dangerous.
What do you think of this, Miss Ronnie?
She has totally not been paying any attention to any of y'all. Totally not. She completely lost track of everything after they were talking about vanilla and snakes and dinosaurs. And so in her mind, she's totally running with dinosaurs who are like 6 times as big as a pig. And she made them in peacock colors. She's like, I think I agree with you.
You're really enjoying that cupcake too, aren't you?
Yes, I did. It goes good with the tingly teeth.
For sure.
You still have not even tried the wine.
No,
Or the soap.
it is too early. It is too early.
Or the soap. The soap here is also very minty.
Oh, I might have to try that.
Should get them from here. They're very polite. I'm biased. I've had them from here for a little while.
Oh, that reminds me, Al. I procured a room for the evening. You are more than welcome to bunk with me if you would like. In exchange
yes.
for your kind purchase of our breakfast.
It would be an honor. Thank you, my friend.
Of course, of course.
I mean, I suppose if you are all looking to get involved with this, I think bounty is the word?
Seems like as good a word as any.
If you want that, I mean, if you don't know where you're going, I could probably show you. I know where the constabulary is, and then getting to the Lord's keep is through the constabulary. I can at least show you that.
Perfect. Yes, that sounds lovely.
Algernon gets a little kind of edgy, and yes, that would be fine.
Apparently, it is something where when there are new people who come into town, this is one of the first places that they see, and so we need to be friendly so that they feel welcome here. And she's saying this, so you can tell that this is something that she's repeating from someone else.
That seems like a good credo to live by.
This town is a lot more friendly than I expected.
Did you expect it not to be friendly? Are there towns that aren't?
Towns don't like random foreign wizards showing up unannounced. People, what's the expression? Ruffles feathers.
Well, then maybe you send a letter ahead and then you are announced. I don't really understand the logic of that. If you do not know exactly where you are going, then...
I've been traveling with destinations in mind. The in-betweens are irrelevant and up to fate. In the meantime, I've tried to hit a few places, libraries, places with wizards that may take me as a temporary apprentice.
I don't think there's very many libraries here. Well, there's the Lord's Library, but that's not the public area. That's the Lord's Library.
Like the Lord of the Land.
Hmm?
I'm
That is
sure his library is lovely.
That is actually, and she kind of like lowers her voice down and leans in. That is actually, from what I've heard, that is where things were stolen from a couple nights ago.
Criminals stealing books.
Mm-hmm. She's not just completely serious.
Wiley, sorry.
Yeah.
As we've been walking around town, have I seen any thieves' camp around, or anything that would indicate Zentarum activity? Okay. Sorry.
Do we get some of that nice cheese?
Does does uh Ronvin have her bird on her shoulder?
Always.
Could
Always.
you just
Miss Penny Swoops is always.
could you describe the bird for Julie again?
Yes, it's a small sparrow-like bird made out of clockwork, looking all kinds of coppery, and it moves and shifts, but it doesn't make any sounds.
So Virgilia's gonna be like, bird, and she's gonna like run over really quick, and she's actually gonna pull out some bird seed at first to try and feed your bird, and she's gonna stop short and be like, "What is that?
That is
Fabulous."
That is Miss Penny Swoops.
Just Penny Swoops. Is that a metal bird?
Yes, she's made from copper. I made her.
Oh my god, that is the most beautiful thing I've seen since I got to this town.
And she
It's
kind
a
of
little-
takes him on the finger and look.
So light too. It's like almost as light as a real bird. And I'll hand her back, and I'll be like, oh, we should probably pay attention to Lieutenant over there.
Okay. She doesn't talk yet, but I'm working on that.
That'd be awesome.
So, we lost sound for a little while in stream, so just to bring the stream up to speed, we have cutscene, and we are all gathered inside the constabulary barracks right outside the gate that would lead the group uphill into the Lord's Keep grounds. They are greeted there by Lieutenant Balver, and that's where we are now. So all 6 party members are together. Sorry about the sound issue. That is really strange. I had myself muted. Not sure why you weren't hearing the party. Really strange. Okay. So, he looks at the group. Here's how we need to do this. Weapons all need to be bound, peace bonded. And he holds up like some cords and things you could tie any weapons down with. If your weapon is such that it can't be peace bonded, you can leave it out here. And you have my word as a lieutenant of the constabulary that it will be guarded and returned to you as soon as you exit the grounds of the Lord's Keep. Any questions? Anyone here a spellcaster? And he kind of looks curiously around the group.
I mean, Calavera kind of shrugs, like, he already knows.
Yeah, he kind of smiles at you. Okay. We would ask that you not use any magics, be it spells or other means, by an item or other way that you have of using magic while you're on the grounds. Anyone found to be doing so will be jailed. Any questions?
Well, I kind of can't turn off Miss Penny Swoops, but it's
What?
not like, I am casting it.
He leans in, looks at the... What is that?
Oh, Miss Penny Swoops. She's my sparrow.
That's metal.
From copper.
That's metal. That's not a sparrow though.
I made her.
Oh, right. Non-magical?
Looks like one.
Right, I see it now.
Well, she was. Yeah. I mean that she can hold her balance. That's magical, but it doesn't really come out of her. But she can't fly. Haven't figured that out yet. But the only thing she can do is sit.
Okay. Seems okay. If we have any trouble, I'll know where to find you. He kind of looks,
Yes.
kind of trying to be
She'll
stern.
be right here, always.
Very well. So he kind of waits and watches to be sure that all of you peace bond your weapons.
What
Gears
does-
will very carefully place their glaive against a wall as economically as possible, and then also loosen a strap that allows the light crossbow to descend and also rest against the wall as well, covering as much of their action as possible with the cloak.
Okay. He does see your weapons appear from within your garb and kind of, well, you concealed those nicely.
Well, the glaive was not concealed. It's impossible to conceal
Okay.
the glaive.
Okay. But the crossbow, yeah.
The crossbow is, yes.
Okay. Anyone else? Any questions?
What is this?
I'm.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Good.
What is this out of character? What is this peace bonding process? Like, are they
So you might,
drilling the blade or what?
if you had a sheathed or scabbarded blade, you would tie a cord in such a manner that it couldn't be drawn from its scabbard. You might like tie it around like to your leg, or wrapped around the pommel in the scabbard such that it couldn't be drawn, or you might just leave your weapon
Okay.
at the gate.
Okay. So I will. Yeah, I've got a short sword in my belt, and I will tie that, and then leave 2 daggers and my short bow.
Yeah, and you see as he takes your weapons, there's a table beside the gateway, and this whole area is kind of covered with an awning, so that if it were to storm or rain, it's all kept dry. But you could see from the way he handles your weapons, he's not just slamming them around, or he's taking care to set them down, and he doesn't want to dull any edges or have any mishaps. So he treats your weapons with the appropriate reverence and respect. Anything else then?
I'll peace bond my sword, and I'll start pulling daggers out, and I put 8 daggers on the table.
So we have a small armory now accumulated on the table. Anyone else with
There's
other
small daggers.
Yeah, like little throwing
Yeah,
knives.
they don't have like a handle like for holding. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Calavera probably didn't bring her weapons and left them in her room, so she's
Right.
good.
Okay.
So,
All right.
All I have is
Runwin will have to put her staff down because you can't really piece-bond her staff.
Right.
She ties it around her little dagger sheath, and I don't think you can do that to a light crossbow, can you? So she's gonna leave her crossbow.
Okay. Yep.
Algernon just has a spell book and an orb like in a satchel that he just kind of leaves out. So he just takes the satchel off and leaves it where the lieutenant's putting everything else.
Okay. So everything's neatly arranged on or under the table, and he waves to 4 of the deputies you see around the barracks area, the yard, and they come over. They're armed. They come over and stand at the table. Just keep an eye on these weapons. I'm going to escort them up into the keep. And they nod. Yes, sir. Are we ready? The Lord is expecting you. Very well. Follow me. And he strides confidently through the gateway, and you head to the northeast, and you see on the hill above you, and it ascends a good 40-50 feet up the hill, and you're in a kind of a cobbled stone pathway that comes through some gardens. There are some fruit trees, very nicely kept. This part of the area, there's no lawn because it's such a hill. And you get up in the stone structure of the keep. It's not a very fancy arrangement. It's a stone structure, 3 stories. There's a kind of a portcullis entryway. It looks like a pretty old building, as far as what you could tell, like maybe from the foundation, the bones. But it looks like it's been renovated, more recent than when it was constructed at some point. There's a small tower on the back side. It's like a half circle tower that goes above, a couple stories above the 3-story structure. And he leads you in and brings you to a sitting room on the ground floor. And it's very nicely appointed. The floors are polished stone. There's the typical accoutrement. There is the heraldry of the town of Daggerfalls. There's also the heraldry of the city of Suzail, which is the capital of Cormyr, far to the south, where you know some of the background and history of Daggerfalls. That is where Lord Cormyr is from. And he leads you in without a word. He leads you into the seating room, and it's kind of a long, sort of a banquet type table. There are a couple of desks, writing desks and such, and standing at one end of the table, looking out of the windows that face the gardens, you see a robed figure, kind of like a cowl. There's a hood, very fine garment, like tipped and hemmed in fur. It's purple, and it goes down over fairly broad shoulders. Salt and pepper hair, short, and they turn around hearing a stirring at the room. Hi, good to see y'all. Please have a seat around the table and we'll get started. And he stands and waits for everyone to enter, and Bolivar closes the door behind you, and you find yourselves standing around a table. There are stone decanters of water. There's bread and cheese set out. Some dried meat, not a feast, but, charcuterie. Please, I am Lord... Whoops, lost my page, sorry.
Lord Oops.
I'm Lord Oops. I'm Lord Barathil Cormyr. Welcome to my keep. Please have a seat. It's a pleasure to have you here. Very soft-spoken, thoughtful. He has spectacles on. Very kind of a nice, beautifully crafted longsword, jeweled on the scabbard and on the cross member. He's wearing leather armor. Again, has the heraldry of Cormier. And he stands at the end of the table. He looks tired. He looks fairly elderly, probably late 60s, slender, tall, slightly stooped. So, I know y'all know I've asked you here to help us with the situation with the theft and the murder of one of our fine guardsmen.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I need is some folks to go track down this Spernick fella. Spernick and Tybeam are a pair of scribes we hired, probably close to 4 months ago. Not many people know, but I keep a small library here on the grounds and a handful of sages and scribes, that mostly for research for the Dalelands and for the wilds beyond, for the area. I mean to develop an historical collection of things and such and so forth. And I also have a personal collection of tomes here that I keep. And that's the matter that brings us all here is these two were caught leaving my quarters. And Tybeam killed Micah, one of my guardsmen, before he was subdued and captured. And Spernick got away. And so, obviously we want you to find this fella. So the utmost importance. We found, when I searched their rooms, we found a couple of tomes who used to be in my personal library, rare books, historic books of the region, you know. And we found them in a haversack in their quarters. You know, all the scribes, they just stay right here in the premises while they're writing and such for us. He kind of stops and he's kind of pacing around a little bit. He seems kind of angsty. Not real emotional, just angsty. Looks tired, bags under his eyes. Very fine, rare tomes. And so it looks like they were going to make off with them, but oddly enough, inside the haversack there was climbing gear and traveling clothes and some foodstuffs and things. But it was just one bag, but there was two of them, so I don't know what to make of that. But when I saw the tomes were gone, when I saw the tomes, we found them in their room. I brought them back to my library only to discover that there was two cleverly forged versions of those books in my library, so they swapped them out. Apparently, mostly what they've been scribing is these forgeries. Any questions so far? What strikes you as odd is he hasn't even asked asked your names or anything. Just right into it. Go on.
Well, what book did they get away with?
Well, that's the interesting thing. We're going through the library now to see if anything else is missing. I assume this Spernick fella's got some more books from the library with him. Nothing more from my collection. But the two books they had pulled out and that they had forged. There were some inaccuracies in the forgeries, but these are pretty well done. And it looks like maybe the inaccuracies were actually maybe changed intentionally to cover what maybe they were looking at, because there's some pages missing from the two actual tomes. The History of the North had a chapter in it about this Circle of the Scale. I don't know if any of you have heard of this. Rue, roll me a history.
Have we?
Ronvin, I'm going to say no. Algernon, no. I'm going to have Fragili and Rue roll me history.
I've got a total of 10.
And I have a total of 9.
Okay. So neither of you have heard of this book or this Circle of Scale. At any rate, what I know about these Circle of Scale is it was this sect of druids who fancied themselves as able to enslave dragons. And this chapter was missing from the forgery. So it appears they tried to cover their tracks as to what they were looking into. The other book, the Lex Geographica. There was an entry missing from the forgery from this one too, about a circle of standing stones located in the Dragon Spine Mountains. It's something to do with some dragon worship and druids. Might be associated with them standing stones. So there seems to be some common information they were seeking about these here druids, perhaps. I don't know. Tybeem's been hanged. I went to see him myself, questioned him. Wouldn't give me a bit of information. But I'd like to see this Sparnick fella found and brought back to justice. I know the constabulary is all up in arms, but their jurisdiction's here in Daggerfalls, which is why I need your help.
Sir.
Yes,
why would
yes.
somebody with such a nice sword need our help? Isn't that a crackbuster sword? It looks like that would be made by the Crackbuster clan. I'm not quite sure why you would need our help. You have so many good swordsmen and detectives around. Not that I don't want to help. I want to help. But aren't they better than we are?
Aye, 'tis a fair question. Indeed. I'm hoping for people who've got some knowledge of the region, of the outside world. I can't spare to send any of my deputies and constables out. They're needed here, protecting Daggerfalls. And as you may have guessed, I'm just too far old and gone to be traveling and putting myself in harm's way, especially as Lord of Daggerdale. I didn't mean to say I'm too important. I really wouldn't probably stand much of a chance if you got into a scrape. It's a fine sword, a fine blade. Indeed. It's of elven make, actually. But it wouldn't do me much good. I'm afraid I wouldn't wield it very well. We do have the Lord's retinue.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah, we do have, and he recognizes your dialect. Mistledale, yeah, lassie? And he stops all of a sudden and looks out the window. And he sits down with a kind of a, like he's just trying to slow down. Forgive me. Ladies and gentlemen, why don't we go around the room and introduce ourselves? I'm so wrapped up in catching this rapscallion that I lost my manners there. Let's just start with the ladies, and since we're chatting there, young lady, from Mistledale, yeah?
Yes,
I reckon that-
Fort.
Ah, yes.
My name is Ronwyn, and this is Miss Penny Swoops.
Aye? Is that a bird? Oh, wait.
Yeah, I made her.
That's metal.
I made her. That's what I do in my uncle's smithy.
All right. Okay. Very well. Pleased to meet you. He looks at Algernon. And you there?
Greetings, my lord. I am but a humble magician. You may call me Al. And if it pleases, Lord, I've spent quite a bit of time in libraries. If I may be allowed to examine these forgeries to see if there's anything I may add to it.
Oh, yeah. It's a good idea. Yeah. I don't know really what I'd be looking for. I only own them for their value, and well, frankly, they look nice in my collection. And he kind of chuckles and he takes a drink of the water, tears off a hunk of the bread. You there? And he nods to the big guy. You look like you can handle yourself in a scrape, yeah? I think you're muted.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Indeed. I am Gears, your lordship.
Hey. Kind of squints. Looks at you for a little while. Hey, young lady. And what?
Hello, I am Calavera.
I see. And where are you from?
Oh, I have been traveling for a long time. It has been such a long time, you know? It's I haven't really thought about it in a while. You understand? It's about places that you're going instead.
Ah, I see. Very well. All right, then. Welcome. Yes.
Mhm.
You, sir. He looks at Rue.
Rue kind of snaps back to attention. He'd been kind of like staring off into the distance. Name's Rue Shahar, sir. Happy to help any way I can.
Ah, very well. Pleased to meet you. Where do you hail from?
Oh, everywhere and nowhere, sir. I've been all up and down the Sword Coast more times than you could shake a stick at.
Aye. Sounds mysterious and all. Yes. And finally, you, young lady. He looks at Fragile.
Ah, saving the best for last, I see. Well, your lordship, I am Fragile Junkasi, and I'm from Thutanthar originally. You guys called it Shade Enclave. Well, you've probably heard, but I really don't have a city anymore. And I've just been kind of adventuring for the last year. Just looking for stories, looking for a good time. And, I've been in town for a week. I met my new best friend Gears over here, and I got to play swords with your lieutenant. It's just been a really good visit to your town.
Hey, well, I'm glad you find your visit nice. Swords with my lieutenant, eh?
Oh yeah, he was helping me to hone my skills so I don't go out and get killed in the very first battle.
Aye. Balver's a good man. Stout warrior.
Yeah, taught me some good stuff about swordplay.
Aye. Fine, very well. I neglected to ask, you say Al, is it? Where do you come from? Your robes, nothing about you strikes me as familiar.
I'm from a faraway land, looking to learn a bit, a study abroad program from my wizarding academy.
I see. Well, welcome. Welcome, all of you. And pardon my awful manners. I'm just a need to find this man. And I'd like you to find him alive, if he still is, and bring him back here alive so that he may be brought to justice. There's a lot of people who got a lot of questions.
Wiley, now that I'm actually paying more attention, does it seem like he's holding things back from us? Do I feel like we're getting the truth from him?
Oh, sure. Why don't you roll an insight check?
That would be a 7.
Okay. You get the sense you're kind of, obviously you're dealing with someone skilled in diplomacy, politics, goodness knows what else, but he seems fairly straightforward. You don't get any weird tells or any strange things that might rub you wrong. He seems genuinely distraught about the situation. So, what other questions have you? Please feel free to avail yourself some food here while we chat.
Well, how far is this Dragon's Spine Mountain do you think we need to go to? You did say that, didn't you?
Hey, well, the book mentions the Circle of Standing Stones in the Dragon Spine Mountains. I don't know if that's where this fella's making for or what. You do recall, Fragile, that you do recall that Lord Balver had mentioned that he had news of someone fitting Spurnick's description heading east in that direction.
Okay, so the mountains are east.
Dragonspire Mountains are east, yes.
Okay.
If you were to go there, it'd take you most of a week to get there, I believe, on foot. What's that,
Well,
Calavera?
it would make sense that they're probably heading it would probably make sense that they're going for mountains if they had mountain climbing gear, like you said.
Yes, the strangest thing. It was like extra clothes and rope and things for travel. Yeah. Yep. Which for a couple of scribes living here in the keep wouldn't be gear they would need. At least not around here, not in Daggerfalls. Looked like they were preparing for a trip.
Does he have the forged, like the fake books sitting, like in the room with us on the table or anything?
You don't see any books anywhere, no. I can offer you this. You can visit the scribes' hall and maybe talk to the other scribes. I can take you to their room. I've left everything the way we found it. And Al, you say, yeah, I can fetch this tomes for you and have you look at them, if you wish.
It would be beneficial to you, my lord. I have a long history with books, old and from all over existence, that maybe in a town such as this, I bring an outside perspective that may not be otherwise available.
Very well then. I'll have you. I think the thing to do would be to look at the originals and the forgeries and see the differences. Hey. Yep.
I would appreciate that very much, my lord.
All right. He whistles loudly. The door opens, and a human female in the typical garb of the constabulary, sword at her side, hair braided back, steps in. Yes, my lord. Would you take Mr. Al here to my library and show him them books? They're all sitting out on the big table there. He's going to look through for any information. And she kind of motions you to the door.
Yeah, I'll follow.
Okay, so she leads you
Would
off.
You, like
yes.
some company there, Al?
Fragile, Rue, you seem like a man of the world. Maybe there are some things that you've seen. You're fine dressed. Maybe you would. My friend here, my lord, might be of some help. The way he is dressed, he may know the finer things. These exotic books. Perhaps he could help as well.
By all means, that's fine with
Don't
me.
have a whole lot of book learning, but I'd be happy to keep you company.
Hey,
Very well. Come
I
along.
can take the other four of you to the quarters and the scribes' hall if you wish.
That's perhaps yes.
Okay, so she escorts you back into the depths of the keep, and you two vanish from sight from the rest of the party as you make your way back to the Lord's private library. And she brings you in there and explains, so I think the way we'll do this is I will, once you go in, I'll lock the door behind you so that you have to stay in here, and I'll come back in, say, an hour and check on you.
Yes, of course. We do this at my academy as well. It is no problem, and I appreciate the courtesy shown to allow me to look amongst your books.
Yes. Well, it's the orders of Lord Cormeril. I serve it as pleasure. She steps out, and you hear the snap of a key in the ornate iron lock mechanism in the heavy wooden door. And you're in a very nicely appointed library. There are some kind of overstuffed upholstered chairs that look like they've seen better days. A couple of drawing tables near the window. There's actually a hearth with the blackened soot of former, use of as a fireplace. And there are rows upon rows of old leather bound and goodness knows what bound and books and tomes. And there are indeed 4 books, 2 that appear at first glance to be identical, and then the other 2 appear to be identical. And they are open on the table.
Al's just going to kind of walk up to the table, look them over pretty well, check the bindings, the quality of the paper, and then just kind of do like a rudimentary flip through to see if he can spot any like clear differences or parts where the forgery might not be as good.
Okay. Roll me a investigation with advantage, since you're in your wheelhouse.
It's going to be a 22.
Okay. So you notice the following things. And Rue, you're kind of maybe just watching this. Maybe you're thumbing around, looking at other books. Might be of interest. And all manner of topics from around Faerun. Many lands, cities you've never heard of. Some you have heard of. You know, things of that nature. But Algernon, as you're looking through the books, you notice right away that the paper, the binding, the coverings are hastily made to look older, but they're very clearly not. They just lack the must and the original patina of an old book. Now, it looks like there was an attempt made to try and make them look older, maybe scuff them up a little bit, so on and so forth. But they're very clearly made of materials that are much newer materials than these older books. And as you thumb through the History of the North book, and you find that section in the original tome, The Circle of Scale, that, you know, again, it describes this group of druids whose mission was to discover a way to enslave dragons. But that chapter is not in the forgery. There's an entirely different bit of mundane lore where that chapter should be. And then the same with Lex Geographica. There's no mention in the forgery of this region of the Dragonspine Mountains where a group of dragon-worshipping druids had resided and constructed this standing stones. But boy, it's there in the original tome. If you look closely, you can see that they tried to copy the script of the original tome. I mean, they're reasonable forgeries, and at first glance, and maybe someone like the Lord Cormero, without him going through the book and knowing what's supposed to be without the comparison of the originals, he wouldn't even realize there was information that had been changed. And you doubt that without a close inspection, he might have even realized that those are forgeries that were in his library. Had he not found the originals, he would have never known to even look, probably. That's your sense. They're decently forged.
As
Do you-
Al,
Okay.
Go ahead.
As Al is finding these places that are where the forgery has happened, given my background, would I recognize like any specific techniques that have been used that might tell me something about the people that have forged this?
No, it just looks like a really decent attempt at making these newer books look a lot like the older books. There's no telltale, there's no watermark on any of the papers or anything like that. There's no telltale script. It's literally an attempt to, copy the original tomes.
Do the books, either the ones on the table that are part of this forgery or, kind of at large on the shelves, do they look like they've been read, or do they look like they're just part of a collection to look impressive?
There's a fair amount of dust. There's a section of books about Cormyr. There's a section of tomes about the history of the Dalelands. Those look like they've probably been pulled out a time or two, much more recently than, say, the rest of the collection. There's probably a couple, maybe 200 to 300 books in the room. It's not an impressive collection, but for out here on the edge of the wilds in a town like Daggerfall, it's kind of surprising, based on what you've seen in your studies and the libraries you visited.
Al's just going to have kind of an exasperated look and just kind of feel a way about all this knowledge and all these books just getting dusty and not being appreciated by the people that should appreciate them.
stuck
Brew,
here.
it is a crime. These books just sit here and nobody reads them. Nothing is gained from them.
I can see where you're coming from there.
You do not
I'm
have a
not.
sword and keep it on a wall.
This is true. I mean, I'm generally more of a talking to people kind of a guy to learn things, but books are great, you know, in certain instances.
To each their own, my friend. I love books. And he just kind of wondrously looks around. These are probably the most books he's seen in a month.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice collection. It's surprising and it's impressive for its location. But he even admitted to you that he's, they're more for him to maybe sit in there and drink his wine and have a smoke. There's stale pipe smoke smell, not something advisable in a library. You could tell this guy's not a sage, more a politician than that.
Maybe we could negotiate as part of the reward once we catch this guy that you could pick a few books from the library here and take them with you.
If you seem a little more charming in this, if you could help me with that, I would appreciate it.
I
Would
can
also
certainly
like to
try.
look around and see if there's any books on clockwork and tinkering, because I still want to have Miss Penny be able to speak or sing.
Right now, did you go to the library with them, or did you stay with the party in the room with Lord Cormeril, Ronvin?
Well, I would have followed to the library because I've never seen a library before.
Okay.
It's just like the handful of books that they have. But since she's a tinkerer, she was always looking for more.
Yeah, I would say give me an investigation check, please. Roll investigation for me as you're looking around this library.
That's a 16.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to find a couple of books on artificing, simple mechanics. So you might pull them out, thumb through them a little bit. And there may be some stuff in there you could use that could help you make some enhancements or some changes to your little avian friend. Just remember what happened to the last person who stole books from the Lord's library.
Yeah, no, we're not stealing. we're taking notes.
Yeah.
Taking notes with little drawings.
Yeah.
It is not stealing.
Yeah, so you find a couple books that you think might be helpful to you as an artificer. Okay. Anything else in the library? The hour passes by very, very quickly as you become absorbed in the not only the luxury but the lore and the comfort of the library, and you hear the key snap in the lock again, and the guard steps in. How are we doing in here? Would you like more time?
I am satisfied that I've learned enough to help his lordship. I am ready to go.
Very well. How about the rest
I
of
would
you?
like to come back one day, but yes, I'm ready. I'm ready, but I want to come back, please.
You should take that up with Lord Cormeril. And she holds the door open and steps aside so that you can all exit the library. Being that it's summertime, the library was actually nicely lit because it's only maybe 6:30 in the evening, and there's a couple of large windows, so light just poured in there. It's nice, naturally lit. So she pulls the door shut, locks it, and leads you back through the stone passageways. All the doors that you pass are closed. You do hear the sounds of what might be kitchen, cooking and clanking and banging and so forth. You see some people who are not festooned in the garb of the constables, but you also pass some of the guards, and she smiles and nods and leads you back to the sitting room. And so for those of you that remain back at the table with Lord Cormeril while the group was in the library, he just addresses you. So what, the three of you, have you got any more questions while we're waiting on them to come back?
There was one thing that I was wondering.
Hey.
If it is okay. I know that they had managed to hurt some of your guards. I was wondering if it is okay how they did that, because I'm not sure if it was a magic thing or not, and that would probably be good preparation to make.
Oh, sure.
Just kind of like glancing at the others, like trying to track if this is like a good question to be asking or not.
Okay, anybody have a reaction to her question?
Rue would be nodding along. Yeah, Rue would be nodding along.
Rue's in the library. This is concurrent. Yeah, this is concurrent to while you're in the library. You're okay. Yeah. You're fine. For Julie or Gears, any thought or comment or reaction to Calavera's question?
Nope.
Man, a few words. Hey, well, it was sword play. Just a absolute physical brawl. That Ty Beam was handy with a blade. Like I said, he took down poor Micah, and he gouged and slashed a couple others. But thanks to the Morning Lord and his blessing, we had him healed at the temple. But there's nothing we could do for Micah. It's a sad day.
Okay. Kind
of shadow passes over his face. Anybody paying any attention can tell this guy's really distraught by this. This is probably the first time anything this severe has happened, either in a long time or maybe ever. This closely personal to the Lord himself. Hey, so what I think we'll do when the others come back, we'll visit the space where they were staying here at the keep. You can see their room. And we'll take you to talk to some of the other scribes. Maybe they know more. I haven't had a chance or really the stomach to interview them. How'd that be?
Yes, that sounds like a good next step to be taking, yes.
Very well. And as you just, you have some bread and cheese and water and dried meats and just wait. The party that went to the library returns with the deputy, and she shows you back to the sitting room, closes the door behind you. And this is a good spot, I think, where we can put a little bow on our first episode and wrap this up for the evening. We've been at it for a little over 3 hours. Whew, my, how time flies. So I'd like to thank all 6 of our outstanding cast members. Job well done in your first episode. And thank you for starting this adventure with us. A couple of bits of credit I'd like to give. I don't know if that heraldry piece will still show. Yeah, I moved it. Okay. Let me see one more thing here. At any rate, the heraldry item that I had up there, the symbol itself comes from Volo's Guide to the Dalelands from 2nd edition D&D. But the colored in, the actual page that I showed you, comes from an item I picked up on the DM's Guild today, the Player's Guide to Faerunian Heraldry. So I like to give credit where credit is due there. And then the graphics that you're all looking at on the overlay come from So Maddie Games. Maddie does all of my graphics for overlays and pages and stuff for the stream, so shout out to him. And even more exciting than that, we have some character art that's being developed that will show up in one form or another on stream. So when that is all done, some of the characters are done, some are still works in progress. When that's all done, we will share that with our viewers. So really super excited about that. The party members all pitched in and got some really cool looking character art going. So very stoked for that. So really happy with everybody hanging out. Like to thank everybody for bits and follows and all of that good stuff. And so let's go around the horn and maybe just tell us a little bit about, just quickly, a little quick outro, where we can find you, maybe what you're up to. And we'll just start, this time we'll start with Gears with Dave.
You can find me, as mentioned earlier at the beginning of the stream, Hey Wilson, on pretty much the 3 or 4 social medias I follow. But so that's usually Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And I think one of my managers at one point said I do stuff to things that may be fair, that may not be fair. I don't know. but currently I primarily work in realms of document management, so that's it's kind of my jam right now. I otherwise lead a very quiet life, and it's been, despite my being quiet, a lot of fun and a lot of questions going through my head, and it's actually remarkably hard to keep my mouth shut.
All right, very good,
I
Dave.
look forward to exposing more of Gears to you all as time comes.
I do too. I'm anxious to see how that all unfolds. Very good, sir. Ronvin, Mara, tell us a little bit about where we can find you and what you're up to.
Well, here on Twitch you can find me as Vivacia, where I am normally a variety streamer. However, I haven't streamed in a month, so yes, absolutely. On the Twitter, you can find me as Miss Vivacia, where there's all kinds of weird stuff. Aside from this, I'm also playing Fridays on Encounter Roleplay, where we're playing a spy hunter game, and I'm a sharpshooting elf, blonde pirate, which is, by the way, totally hilarious because we're the pettiest of pettiest, and I am not even kidding. We're the pettiest of pettiest, and I'm supposed to finish up a Call of Cthulhu mini campaign with Uncanny Adventures, but we've kind of been pushing that back. It should have been done like 3 months ago. But I had a blast today, and normally I am not the one who plays the babies, so this was definitely interesting to try out. And I've never played an Artificer or an Azima before, so.
Cool. Awesome. Very good. Thank you. Algernon.
You can find me at Growed Up Geek on Twitter and Instagram. When I'm not here, I run a almost 2-year now long 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign with friends of mine in a home game.
Oh, nice.
And I am currently working on a long-term Eberron campaign that I might bring to stream in 2021. So be on the lookout for that. I also want to take this time to thank my castmates and Wiley for being an awesome DM. You guys were great. This was a whole lot of fun. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for that, sir. All right, Fragile. You're muted, buddy. And since you sound better than you look, I think you should really get that fixed.
Oh, dude. Yeah. You can find me in one of 2 places. On Twitter, I'm Mike at Rushi. It looks like Mike at Russia, but where I'm at, they pronounce it Rushi. And online, if I'm gaming anywhere, I'm usually Buckethead Clunk. So it's my kids' nicknames. And indie-wise, this is my first live streaming game. It was a lot of fun. Real world, I DM a homebrewed Cormier campaign that Wiley's a part of, and play in an Eberron campaign. So I've been DMing consistently now since about 2010. I had all my childhood DMing, but we know that doesn't really count because it's, everybody gets mortal weapons at that point. So, and real world, I do this. I paint Warhammer minis and hang out with my better half.
And she is definitely the better half, right?
Yeah. Better looking, a little bit nicer than I am. So.
All right, man. Good deal. Rue. You're muted too, bud.
I'm muted, yeah.
There you go.
Hey y'all, I'm Andrew, aka Fellowship of the Tables. On Twitter, I'm Fellowship OTT because character limits. I'm active in the Open for Adventure community. Biggest project I'm working on is a wiki for several of their campaigns, maintaining all the lore for their homebrew world. So there's a lot to work on there, but it's a lot of fun.
That is a lore-rich homebrew world over there, Open for Adventure. Yeah, yep, absolutely. Cool, very good, sir. And last but not least, Calavera.
Hi, Hi, you can find me on Twitter at KeelanCutieBye. I cannot promise any good content whatsoever. Usually I'm just kind of talking about podcasts that I like a lot or whatever type of tea I have that day. Usually it's a mystery. Um, in real life, me and a bunch of my friends have been going through and cycling who's DMing different games, usually in 5th edition. We're making our way through every single like 5e adventure game that's been published so far, which is taking a while. And I guess one of the other things that I can plug that really is just kind of in the search of ideas is that within probably a year or two, some friends and I are going to end up having a podcast that's basically an advice column, but for D&D parties, called "Don't Split the Party." So look for that coming out. And now that I've said that, we're extra committed to it.
Nice. Yeah, now you have to do it because you've been pitching it live in front of people. Cool, very good. So, man,
True.
that is very cool. I'm looking forward to that. Make sure you shout that out as it gets closer. All right, so
Absolutely will.
I'm your host. I'm Scott, Wily Hobbit, across all the Twitters and Twitches. This is one of 3 games on our channel. I dropped the Discord link in chat a couple times, so please, you're more than welcome to join Discord. We'd love to have you there. Very friendly, kind of low-key, chill community. Biggest thing I got coming up besides the 2 new games that I mentioned earlier is Virtual Greyhawk Con, first weekend of October. That's a pretty cool thing. I'm a big fan of the original D&D setting, Greyhawk. There's a link to that. It's like a virtual convention. You can sign up for games, panels. It's going to be streamed across a handful of channels, including ours. The second announcement I posted in there. I'm running a game on Sunday the 4th of October, Fall Crypt of the Mountain Kings. I think there's 1 seat left, so if you'd like to get in on that, just click the link. You do have to register for the con, and I think they zap you like $2 and change or something. That's the cost that the tabletop.events platform charges. And then you can register for the game. There's no charge to do that. So check that out. And man, I'd like to thank these awesome players. It's really cool as a DM when you can talk like less than half of the time and let your players shine. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how this all unfolds. So I'm going to kick off a raid. We're going to go visit my friend Simon. He runs a channel called The Wandering DM. And golly, I met him 2 years ago at Gen Con after playing in a couple games on his stream. And so about 5-6 seconds from now, we're going to hit that raid. And we'll see you all next Monday at 7:30. Thank you all very much for hanging out tonight. And we'll see you soon.